This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Do you have anything that's like more dramatic?
Do you want more dramatic?
Yeah, could you play that for me just one more time? Can you do that, or you don't have access to it?
I don't have that access. I'll have it ready for you tomorrow, because then we can abuse that dramatic sting.
That felt like Back to the Future when he plugged in those amps.
There you have it, right there, ladies and gentlemen. A boom. It's the Tom Barnard Show. Bitches. Throw bitches in there at the end, too. That'd be good. A couple of great headlines I want to get to. I'm not going to read the stories right now, but, I might, maybe. But two great headlines in the news. And these are real headlines. I'm not making these up. If you like your coffee black, you might be a psychopath, which is a good lead, I think.
Yeah, that's because I don't know. I'm not a coffee person overall, but black coffee, you got to have a little like cream, sugar, something.
Yeah.
A little something to just like sweeten it up.
Yeah, I can't do black coffee. You're right. I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't know why. My mother drank. You want to see a picture of my mother? Here's a picture of my mother. She's sitting back in a chair like this, got her cup of black coffee and the Marlboro.
Yeah, there we go.
How you kids doing? Maybe that's why your voice was like this. Hey, Tommy, get upstairs to bed. Yes, Mom, absolutely. So, yes, if you like black coffee, you might be a psychopath is one. And then there's another one. And I am going to read that story later on in the day, or maybe, I'll get to one of them maybe before we go to Judd. But the second one, someone ordered delivery and left this note, knock quietly, I'm supposed to be on a diet. Now, that's pretty good, I would say.
That's good.
I like that take. That's a good take, if you know what I'm talking about. So what happened over the weekend? It was a long weekend. Not everybody had the day off, though. I was kind of surprised because a lot of places, people were still working, all the rest of it. You would think that MLK Day would be a national. Well, it is a national holiday, but why don't most people get it off?
That's a good question.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like there's always random businesses that will go, well, since everybody else has the day off, we're going to work because then we're more likely to make more money.
That's true. It might. What? It's about money? Who ever heard of it?
Yeah, especially in the service industry, you'll get those where you're like, oh, it's everybody has a day off. We can have the day off too. And then they go, well, no, everybody's going to want to have something to do. Yeah, they're going to have to come eat somewhere.
No, that's exactly right. I do want to mention too that Britt, lame brain, Brittany is getting her, I can't say where it is or what it is or whatever, but she's getting her dream job coming up, which I'm very happy for her. She's a hell of a nice person, except to you guys. She wasn't very nice to you. I remember that.
Yeah, that's the one lasting memory is just constant insults off the air.
Tiptoeing into the studio every day. Yeah.
Okay, since she's going to be on a show, but I just can't tell you where it is yet. But in any case, so congratulations to her. She's a sweet kid. I've known her since she was, I think, 20 years old, maybe 21. She was at KQ with me, and now what is she, like 84?
Yeah, we'll just say she's a little bit older than 20, not much.
No, if she was here, she would say she's a teen mom. Yeah. She's on the later stage of 19.
Yep.
Yeah, teen mom. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly it. But worked with her over at the Q, and then she. That's why we called her Quitney, because she quit. Yeah. So she was Quitney from that time. Where did she go? Do you remember where she went when she left the Q? Did she go right to Hubbard? I
think so. I don't believe I knew Brittany when in her Quitney phase. Okay. Like once she came back and was, a high-ranking member over at the Q, that's when I got to meet Brittany.
But then she was Quitney when she left that. That's what.
Oh, she left again?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Quitney.
But I believe it was just straight to Hubbard.
I think that is probably true. So, yeah, we'll let you know. When she lets us know, we'll let you know. Quitney is, well, look, I mean, she's a big-time friend. I love Quitney. She's a nut job. I mean, let's be honest. She's nuts. But I know I have a lot of affection for people who are crazy.
Yeah, but she's like, in the best ways. Like, she is the ideal person to be around.
Yeah, whether you want to or not, she's going to make you be your friend. Or, make you guys be friends.
Yeah,
that's true. I would like to mention something, and I would never mention this. Brittany, if you're listening, don't tell me you were listening, okay? I don't know if I could take her in a fight. I'm pretty confident against 99% of men, but I don't know about Brittany.
No, she's from the stories I've heard of her drinking days, and then just the fact that she was in the military. It seems like she's the proper whatever mixture of trained and crazy in a fight.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because Tevin almost got his ass beat last week when she was in studio.
Really?
But during the break, she ran down to the bathroom quick, and when she came back, Tevin was like behind the door or whatever. And so she just walked in. I was talking to her. He came up behind her and startled her. And I was like, there was a split second where you could see like all that training, that combat experience came.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to get it.
Yeah, I was hiding in like behind the door. I was like, oh, I'll just jump out as she's like approaching. And I was like, yeah, she'll probably punch me in the face. And so I was like, yeah, let me move to scare from a different angle. So, but yeah, I like Flash.
No, but I don't want to do it now because, since she's going to be on a different show and all the rest of it, she might not be awake yet. But at some point, we're going to have to call her and ask her if she thinks she could beat the piss out of all three of us. What do you think her answer is going to be?
I think absolutely.
Yeah, she would say absolutely.
Yeah.
Does she know that tricky, United States air? She was in the Army, right? She was an Army person. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you learn how to fight in the U.S. Army, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's because she was a medic, I believe, in the Army.
I believe that's true. Could you imagine your arm fell off and here comes Brittany? Oh, great. Thanks. I guess I won't need long sleeve shirts on that side anymore, but but no, she's something else. There's no question about that. But she's got that length too. I mean, that's the other. She's got very long arms, and that helps too. That's the other thing. I had a friend. Well, actually, in my position, my inseam and my pants is like 31 inches, and my sleeve length is 37 inches, because I'm very monkey-like. I just more than one way. Yeah, there you go. That's a good impression of me right there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate your impression of me walking down the street.
Of course.
But yeah, so we'll miss Brittany. There's no question about it. But she's quit on us before, so let's just blank her from our minds.
Who are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm not sure who we're.
What? I don't know. I got one problem though, because she's got these friends named Catherine Brandt and Alex Rasmussen and Andy Barnard. So it's going to be a problem. That's all I'm saying. No, Brittany, congratulations. Like I said, as soon as she can announce it, we'll get that done. But we should still have her on like at least once a week until she starts working full time again. Don't you think? Have her on as a special guest.
Ooh,
yeah. I would think so. Mm-hmm. Let's book her through like a. You know what I'll do?
What's that?
I'll call Art Sears and see if he'll book her. What do you think of that?
She's going on a little press run for you.
Yeah, she's going on a press run, exactly. Art Sears, by the way, is a guy in New York, or it's actually in Connecticut, that books our guests for us. Does a great job with that. So maybe I'll get a hold of Art and see if he'll call Brittany and go, Brittany, we'd like to book you on the Tom Barnard show. Do you have any availability? I tell you, she's such a nut. The only thing I love about her, and this is true, I always have loved this about her, she gets this goofy bullshit going on. Mm-hmm. And then she can get this very severe, I hope she doesn't punch me thing. And then the other thing is that very kind of sweetness. She's got a sweetness. She'll tear up at the drop of a hat. That's all I'm saying. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's been moments on the show, depending on what we're talking about, where she's like, we have to move on. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to end badly for me.
Nah, she's a hell of a nice person. Her mother, by the way, is a wonderful. That's where she gets it, I think, is from her mother. Mm-hmm. Her mom is a big fan of the show, which, Brittany never was, but her mom was, so that's good. You know what I'm saying? All right, so oh my God. Jesus, Palomino, that time goes by fast. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that, aren't I?
Yeah, maybe. We can get a code word in, maybe, if you want.
No! There's
Dakota. That's our cue.
Dakota. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back. SKOR North's Judd Zulgad will join us just a couple minutes from now. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all of your continued support. Thank you. They're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TOM, T-O-M, and you get free shipping on your entire order. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. Take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses, mattress toppers, 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146 or go to mypillow.com, and please do use promo code TOM.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabanco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw & Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner. You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
I thought we fired Amy. What happened?
Oh, she never leaves.
She's just never going to leave, even though we fired her. She's always going to do the intros.
Absolutely.
I suppose, Judd's looking at me like, did you really?
Oh, no, I knew she went nowhere. No. I was trying to see how my camera is working. It looked a little slow from my end, but no, I know that she's not going anywhere, because without her, I think we might collapse.
Just comes apart.
It's just it. That's it.
Amy Daniels, program director. That's all we have to say. All right, you got a lot to talk about today, Pally, because a couple of surprises, I would say, don't you think?
Most definitely, including the fact that I think it's a very plausible discussion that Eagles coach Nick Sirianni's job might be in jeopardy a year after he made the Super Bowl. That's an epic collapse. I mean, they lost to Tampa Bay last night, but beyond that, if you look where they were at one point in the season, and they went in the toilet, epic collapse.
They're 10-1, right? At one point.
I think that's right. Yeah.
I think 1-6 to end the season.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But and in that town, they don't put up with any BS, man.
Oh no,
that's not like here where we'd have long discussions about what do you think they should do if Kevin O'Connell. What should they do? Should they do in Philadelphia today? I guarantee you, sports talk and the Eagles are like, let's rip the Band-Aid off this SOB. Let's get rid of them.
There was a guy at the playoff game with a Fire Sirianni sign. Like he brought it just in case.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they all just walk around with that in their pocket, and it's like unfoldable.
Yeah.
People in this town don't understand, and they object to it, but I find it to be pretty hilarious. They don't understand, what those East Coast, especially like Philly, is like.
Oh, God, don't mess with Philly. And do not go in their stadium wearing another team's jersey. Not a good idea.
I tried to tell people before the 2017 NFC title game. I tried to talk about that on the old show on 1500 at the time, Tom.
Sure.
And fans were like, oh, I'm going to go in and wear it. I said, don't do it. I've seen people leave on stretchers. Don't do that.
I mean, you could get beat up. There's no question about it.
Oh God, yeah. Well, and not just like not just sort of like jostled, not just sort of pushed around. You're talking, you get your ass kicked.
I, to this day, still love the fact it's the only place, Philadelphia, where they booed Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Santa comes to the game and they boo him.
Eagles fans are easily the worst too. Like Flyers and Phillies and Sixers fans, they're very, very passionate. But that football stadium, you are taking your life in your hands.
It's amazing. There's no question about that. Yeah, 10-1, and they get their ass kicked last night, or over the weekend, I should say, I guess.
And then how about those Packers?
Are they coming back at us? My God.
Tevin.
I know. Hey, Tevin, you should be my age because, man, you played the Packers back when I was, let's say, a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You got your ass kicked every time. It was unbelievable. Every time.
One bad year. Is that too much to ask for? Like, they struggle one time.
Not even that. Can they just miss on a quarterback ever?
Yeah, you're right.
Jordan Love looks tremendous.
He does. Well, oh, that's right. We don't have a quarterback anymore. I forgot. Oh, but such is life. It's we just keep forging ahead, and I didn't get it. I watched bits of the game. I didn't watch one complete game. I watched bits of a few of the games. And I'm sorry, the Vikings are just not ready to go at people like that. They're just not.
No, they're not big enough. They're not. Nope. You know, you look at the common denominator when the playoffs start too, and it's run game, offensive line, physicality, defensive line. The Vikings aren't built like their defensive line. Beyond the fact that Hunter, who is technically now, because they play a 3-4, an outside linebacker, but if you look at their actual defensive line, it's not good at all. It's mediocre at best. And like, look at these teams and the way that they play now. You got to be able to literally kick teams' asses, and I don't mean on the scoreboard. I mean up front, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they need to definitely look at their structure and how you do things. And I appreciate speed. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And athletic ability, but there is something to be said for when you get to January, just being able to actually compete, go toe-to-toe with teams. And that's where I feel, when you can't run the ball, and the Vikings literally can't run the ball, you're not going to win this time of year. Hell, you're probably not going to win in December, but you're not going to win in January.
No, it's absolutely true. Why? What is it about the Vikings? They just can't ever, in what is it now, 62, 64 years, whatever the hell it is.
It's a long time, Tom.
They just cannot ever get it together. Yes, got to 4 Super Bowls and looked horrible in all 4 of them. Why? Why do they do it?
That predates my recollections. I want to know why they can't get to a Super Bowl to look horrible.
Yeah, it's very true. They got to 4 they were all in the 1970s, weren't they? All 4 of them?
Yes, they got to the first one against the first one was the 69 season, right? And it was played in January 70.
Right.
But yeah, they haven't been back since 76 season?
77, I think. Yeah.
January of 77.
I believe,
so, yeah, it's frustrating.
Well, it's very frustrating because, we got to have some patience. It's only been 57 years or whatever. What the hell? How long has it been, for God's sake? It's been 47 years, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it has.
47 years since they've even been to a Super Bowl.
Yes. We've won 2 World Series in that time, and the last one was 30 some odd years ago. How about that?
Well, we also have a hockey team that's never won the Stanley Cup, so what the hell is that all about?
Well, yeah, hold on a second. We have 2 hockey teams. We've had 2 hockky teams and the second one's never even been to a Stanley Cup. No, forget winning one.
What is it? Is it because Minnesota fans are kind of complacent and they'll still support the team even if they get their ass kicked year after year? Is that what the problem is?
I think it's a multitude of things, but I honestly do think one issue is that the fan base here, and it's not the whole thing, okay? But there's a definite segment, and I think it's fairly large, of the fan base in this town that basically tries to poo-poo and criticize the critics. So, like, if you're too hard on the team, they're like, oh, come on. I mean,
right.
Tom, Blair Walsh misses the easiest field goal in the history of field goals, and a first grade teacher has her class send him all, don't feel bad about it.
Oh, no,
don't feel bad. Yeah, feel like crap.
Yeah, he's now selling like insurance or something like that down in Texas. So that makes my heart a little warm because he's not in the NFL. But yeah, there is, I think you're right, Judd, kind of that, we're always trying to look on the bright side of things. And sometimes people just need to be held accountable in sports, because right now I feel like people can come here, you get a job in Minnesota, and you're like, it doesn't matter really how I perform. My job's going to be safe because their expectations aren't really that high.
Yep. And we're always, and I also think that we're instead of like being hard on the team, we're hard on the people who are hard on the team. Because how dare you? We're from Minnesota. How dare you be hard on the team? So like, screw that. Be hard on the team.
Could you just win a Super Bowl, for God's sake? A Stanley Cup would be good. An NBA championship since when was the last one? 1966 or something like that.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
No, it was the late 50s, right?
Oh, it was the late 50s. So that's even better. God. What is wrong with this place? All right, we haven't won a national championship in University of Minnesota football since 1961. What the hell are we doing?
Well, at least you saw those, Tom.
Yeah, it was all of 8.
Right. Well, who cares? Tevin would take it. Tevin would take it.
Right now, we don't even get close. Like, the highlight of my Minnesota's fandom is the Timberwolves with KG losing in the Western Conference Finals one year, the Vikings losing to the Saints in the NFC Championship game. Like, that's about as good as it gets. It's really fun for, like, and the getting blown out as well. Like, we're never competitive in those games to get to the next level.
Yeah.
You would think by accident they could win a title.
Yeah.
Or how about get to one?
Get to one to be good now, yes. Just getting to one to be great. I don't think Minnesota fans are complacent, though, either. It's not that the fans don't care. Our fans do care, as far as I can tell, right? So I don't know what the hell to tell you. I see that Atlanta's going after your boy from New England.
Belichick. Yeah, he's going to. Yeah, I think he and Robert Kraft of the Patriots had an agreement to split up here, but he's not retiring.
No. Because he's 15 wins away from setting the all-time wins record, so he would rather hang around for 2-3 years to get that and go out on top.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. You got to go out on top if you're a guy like him. He's a phenomenal coach. There's you can't even argue that point. So we'll see how it works out. It's just I wish I hadn't brought up Minnesota sports. Now I feel like crap, and I will the rest of the day. Thanks a lot, sports in Minnesota.
It's all my fault.
Jeez.
If I hadn't appeared, if this handsome mug hadn't appeared on this screen, you never would have thought about it.
This handsome mug, he says. I'm not denying that it's true, but
I gotta sell somebody on that. It sounded good, though. I said it with complete confidence.
Well, you did.
Do we have any hope? I mean, now we're officially in NFL draft mode, at least here in Minnesota. Are we looking for like a Michael Penix? Do you think we'll go defense? Do you have any early indications on what you would do?
Well, I would go quarterback because they need one. Like, if they bring Kirk back, they need one. But I'm a little bit concerned that they're going to bring Kirk back and they're going to think that they can win, and so they'll go defense. Now, they do need help there as well. But I just, to go back to what we said, they've got a lot of positions of need that don't, they're not the sexy positions. I don't want to see them tear it down because I don't think it's necessary. I mean, Tampa Bay just won a playoff game. Green Bay was like 2-5. I don't think a tear down is necessary. I do think having your ducks in a row is, though. And I feel like part of the problem here is we a lot of times tend to think we're close when we're not necessarily that close. Hey, Kirk Cousins comes back, we could win it. Well, he's going to be 36 and his Achilles just popped.
Right.
So that's what concerns me.
He's only 36. God, he's been around for a long time.
35 right now, and he'll be 36 in August. He was drafted out of Michigan State, in the 4th round in the mid-2000s.
God.
Yep.
That's amazing. Well, I told you, he sat at the next table at a restaurant. I was on vacation, and he was at the next. I didn't talk to him or engage with him or any of that stuff. I was just surprised at how slight he is.
Yes.
I mean, he's a very thin guy. He's got some talent. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I was kind of shocked because usually you run into an NFL player, it's like, holy God, is that guy huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's a very slight guy. I don't know. Seems like a smart guy. He's pretty bright, isn't he?
Cousins, yeah. Oh, no, I think he's bright. I don't know he can. I've always said I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl.
No.
But that being said, yeah, and you know what? He's a good player. It's not the question of that, but you have to have your quarterback eventually. And that's the Vikings thing is they always, and Tom, they've done this for years. They always bounce from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback. I would love to see a coherent plan here.
I would too. No, you only got one more minute left, so I got to bring this up. I don't know why it happened, but it did happen. In the middle of the night, I had a dream, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because we changed the format on the show here. Maybe that's what it was, looking back at the rest of it. You guys probably don't remember this because you're probably too young, but when Randy Brewer went into the NBA, do you remember that, when that happened?
With Milwaukee Bucks, yes, I do.
We, over at the Q, put out a song. Well, remember the song, White Bird in a Golden Cage? You remember that song?
Vaguely, yes.
Vaguely, yeah. Well, we redid that song. Randy Brewer, who was what? He was like 7'2", wasn't he?
Yes. Huge.
We did White Boy in the NBA. Looks like Herman Munster for the Golden Gophers. It just popped into my head. What would have brought that into my memory? Why last night? It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
The brain's a weird thing, my man. Dreams don't necessarily make sense.
Hey, Jay, that song's got to be out there somewhere. A White Boy in the NBA. It's got to be out there somewhere.
Well, that needs to be the anthem for every white player drafted in the NBA from now.
Amen.
Oh, Randy. I only met Randy once. He was a very pleasant guy, right? He was from Lake City, Minnesota, right?
Lake City.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he once scored 50 points for the Wolves.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Some arbitrary, weird ass, never would have expected it performance by Randy Brewer.
Always heard from everybody what a nice guy he was. I only met him one time. He was very pleasant, but everybody's talking about what a nice guy Randy Brewer is, which is nice to hear, right? All right, Palomino, we will talk to you again tomorrow.
Perfect. Talk to you all then. All
Thanks
right,
a lot.
bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, SKOR North's Judd Zulgad. Take a break. Be right back in a couple minutes. Chris Egert will join us right after this. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security and investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Which one of you hunyucks left your mic on that whole break?
I don't think anybody did.
Oh, yes, they did. The whole break I heard. Do, 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 do.
Oh, that might have been me, Tom.
Nice. Oh. Maybe you don't want to bring them up there, AJ, before the end of the break.
I think I might have been clearing my throat.
But you started humming too? You started going do 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 do.
I might have. There's always a happy song playing in my head, Tom. So
that's what it is. Yes. No, I understand you're a very happy man. I'm just,
probably the happiest.
A little distracting is all I'm saying for the people who, paid to have their announcements on the show. So, we'll just keep an eye on that from now on, Joe. What do you say?
Yeah. I guess I could have sworn that I had it put it down, but that's my fault.
No, it's both your faults. I hate both of you. I just like to point that out.
I'll go clean out my desk right now.
Do you have a desk?
Yeah, I got a couple of them actually.
I don't have a desk. Where do I get a desk?
You have one to spare? Because I don't have one.
You don't have a desk, AJ? You guys have kind of a floating workspace though up there, don't you? Like people kind of sit down wherever they want.
And a first come, first serve. It's like you said, it's very fluid. Yeah. I like that term. Yeah.
Very fluid, actually. Yes. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Chris Egert with us from Channel 5 Eyewitness News. Any big stories this morning?
Well, I'd say the Iowa caucus last night was sort of our big story today, although I don't think anybody was surprised at all by the results. Donald Trump sort of ran away with it. DeSantis came in second, which might have maybe surprised a couple people. Mm-hmm. What was interesting was that the fact that it was so cold and the weather was kind of crappy.
Right.
The turnout was very, very low. And part of that, the experts will say that plays into the fact that most people thought Donald Trump was going to be the winner no matter what. So maybe less people were activated to get out and do the caucusing. So have you guys ever lived in a state that actually did like the caucus per se?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah. So I think they had it we lived out in Washington. I think they had a similar thing as they have in Iowa, which is, it's a whole different deal. Like you got to sit there with people and you got to talk about it. And it seems like, I don't know. A lot of people like to keep their politics to themselves, walk up to the ballot box, do your thing, drop it in, walk away. I would think that would be a whole different kind of experience like they do it down in Iowa. And I think there's some other states too, but.
Yeah, they probably do. It's actually kind of interesting because Catherine and I were watching it last night. And it just dawned on me, basically, because I thought this when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s, my 30s. I've gotten to the point in my life where I don't really want to give my opinion on politics anymore because it needs to be turned over to younger people. That's the future of America. So turn it over to the. I really don't want to give any political opinions anymore. Today is, I guess I'm not announcing that, but in a way I suppose I am. But I just, the future is what, 25 to 64.
It's good we're turning it over to the younger people with two fairly old men.
Exactly right. Maybe you got my message. Maybe neither of them should be running for president.
Well, there's probably plenty of people who would agree with that. But.
It's like, but don't you think that's fair? I learned that from a neighbor of mine who was, he just started talking to me one day. But I said, Tommy, how old are you now? I said, I'm 21. He said, we're turning it over to you. I'm at a point in my life where I really don't feel like giving my opinion politically because my future, and at that time I think the guy was like 80 years old or 75 or something like that, and he decided that because back then 75, a lot of people croak. Well, a lot of people still do die at 75 years old, but he just thought I don't feel it. I should be contributing to this, or at least if I do vote, I don't really want to talk to any about who I voted for or what I voted for or any of that kind of stuff. So I learned it from. But I decided yesterday while watching that, it was time for me to say, you know what? I don't have a political opinion anymore. That's fair, don't you think?
Yeah, and it is an interesting thought. I personally feel that like the older I get, it's best to just leave all my opinions to myself.
Well, see, there you go. I think that's a good follow-up right there. Yeah, why don't you just shut up completely there, TV?
Yep.
Well, that works.
Maybe that's a result of also having 2 teenagers in the house. I'm not really sure.
Well, yeah, it's true. And by the way, I just I'm not doing it because, I do believe that maybe both of them are too old to be running for president, or maybe not. I don't know. It's not my position. But I was thinking about that. It's like, turn it over to the youth of America. Not too youthful, don't get me wrong. Don't get too low on the totem pole.
If we turned it all over to the youth of America, we'd all just be looking at TikTok for the rest of our lives.
That's true. Exactly right. I'm not on social media at all. I don't do any of that stuff. Andy's here. Andy kind of handles that for me, actually. He and his wife do. But yeah, you think that's a fair position, though, don't you? At some point, and it just struck me last night, this is the day for me. I don't really want to give any more political opinions about anything. It's none of my business, actually, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes sense what you're saying, Tom. But at the same time, it's like the older generation definitely has the wisdom of living through things. So there is kind of that give and take of yes, it is the generation or the new generation coming in is kind of got to take over because it's their future. But at the same time, you kind of rely on the older generation to be like, hey, we kind of went down this path before.
Right.
It might not work out the way you anticipate.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You can still get involved in some conversations here and there. But, it'd be interesting to see. Andy's in studio. Obviously, you can see him behind me there.
Hi, Andy.
Hello.
He hops over.
Turn everything on here.
You got to turn. He's got it all working and everything. Now, Andy, we're talking about the fact that I don't really want to talk much politics anymore because I'm of an age where it's like I'm turning it over to people your age. What do you think of that?
Well, the minimum age to become president is 35.
Mm-hmm.
So my age is still barely I would be a very young president.
Yeah, you would be.
I don't know. I think mid 40s is probably a good place for a president to be. Old enough to know pretty much anything they're going to need to know,
But as a voter, don't you? At this point, it's time for guys like me to step aside and go, hey, we'll follow your lead. It's your future, and you should build your own future. And you know what? If you make mistakes, we did too.
Yeah, I think 70 is it's too old to be a president.
Well, and they're going to be 80.
And they're going to be 80. That's definitely too old to be a president. Yeah.
Well, and Tom, for your just for your own mental health, you've stressed about politics your entire life, essentially, right?
Yeah,
it's let me relax and you guys worry about it for now.
Well, I got lucky because I was a Democrat for a long time. Then I was a Republican, and then I kind of went centrist on the whole situation. So I've been in all and look, I voted for Democrats. I voted for Republicans the last go around a couple of years ago. So I've never voted a straight ticket for any party in my life because there are some people I just don't care for, So that's I guess a good way to put that is, look at Andy working on the sound system. Mm-hmm. What don't you like?
Quality could be a little better.
That's what everybody thought this morning, Andrew. There's no question about it. But yeah, I think it's a situation where now look, down in Iowa it's a different story because these people have their own lives, and if you're even in your 90s, you should still vote in Iowa because it's a completely different city. They don't have a major city in that state, and they make their money a different way. They live their lives a different way, and I think that's important too, right?
Yeah, and but then it goes back to the bit of you're walking into the booth, you're making your choice, you're dropping your ballot in, you're not having really a conversation about it. You're making your choice for the reasons that you want to do it. But
no, you're absolutely right. I just think that's the way it is, and I got no problem with that. I really don't have any problem with that whatsoever. You know what finally pushed me over the top?
What
is, and again, I'm not being negative here. It's just a different experience. It was the caucus day in Iowa. I was not in Iowa. I was in a different state, but I saw a young woman, and she was talking politics, and she leaned very strongly one way, but you could see it coming. You know why you could see it coming?
What was that?
She had blue hair. She wants everyone to know that she's a Democrat, baby. That's all. That's a problem, though, because all redheads are not Republicans. So that's going to create a problem, right? You know, your blue hair is sending the wrong message.
I think you're making an assumption, Tom. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, this was not an assumption. I can guarantee you that.
I think everyone needs to Google apposematism. They'll understand very quickly what's happening there.
Apposematism? What is that?
It's the mechanism by which an animal will develop very bright colors to display that it is poisonous.
Oh, it's a good move.
It's human apposematism. That's my theory.
So red and blue hair. Well, your mom's kind of got red hair.
Well, but, there's red and then there's Ronald McDonald red.
Oh, that's true. It's a very good point. All right, Mr. Egert, what else you got, Pally?
Well, I've got a new list of the healthiest and unhealthiest states according to Forbes magazine. Where do we think Minnesota falls on that?
25.
You're right. You're talking about right now. I would say healthiest. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go top 20. I'm going to go 19. That's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, probably. 4? Wow.
Boy, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
See, I was being conservative there in my view.
It's that's the only Midwest state listed in the top 10. So you got Hawaii, Utah, Connecticut, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Colorado, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Washington, and New York.
And 50 is Mississippi, of course.
50 West Virginia is and then
really?
Yeah, West Virginia, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, Alabama, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Ohio, and this last one surprised me a little bit. Indiana.
Really?
Yeah.
That does surprise me too. I agree. Right in the center of the United States, you think they'd be very conscious of all this?
My only insight I can add to that is I have a friend who recently traveled through southern Alabama, or Freudian slip, through southern Indiana, and he was very surprised about what that was like. He said it felt like it was more like being in the South than it was the Midwest.
I could see that, absolutely.
Which makes sense, yeah.
Mo, definitely.
There you go.
Thank you, Pally. Have a magnificent day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, you guys, take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple minutes right after this. Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy.
zero res carpet.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's the reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Listen to her. Big shot.
Now for an exciting...
What?
Oh, my mic's not on. Now for an exciting new segment I call New Show, New Problems.
Okay, we have a new problem.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
the audio quality is not so good.
Okay, so what are we going to do?
I have some ideas, but I didn't want to do it during Chris's segment because, that's rude.
I could make him sound worse. That'd be great.
Well, I don't think we could even accomplish that.
See, because in my headphones, everything sounds really good. Why would that be?
Yeah. Mine sounds like almost like your gain is extremely high.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's one. Let me try this. Let's see.
Andy's giving it a whirl. That's why Andy came in early to make sure the audio was all set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 2024 version of the Tom Barnard Show, and it's going to be done right.
Is that improving things?
Is that improving
right
things?
now?
What he's doing?
Yeah, that actually sounds a lot better.
There you go.
So what was it?
I can keep going.
Yeah, you sound much better.
Okay, what if I do one more notch?
Okay, he's doing one more notch right now.
Is that even better, or is that too low?
I don't think it really made too much of a difference. I think we're kind of in that sweet spot.
I think whatever you just went to, it sounds better now, but we're still getting a little bit of feedback on our end from your guys' end, if that makes sense.
Well, I can keep going.
Okay.
That's super low now. How about
Oh yeah, that's way
way too low.
Okay. So where would the echo be coming from, though?
It's not echo.
Like that.
So this is better anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much perfect.
Oh, good.
AJ, you getting any echo
Well, there
still?
we go.
No, I'm not. I'm not hearing it. It's still very faint, but it's not like it's. I think that's just because I'm hearing everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just AJ's mic that I'm hearing an echo of.
Well, but let me ask you a question. Were you out drinking last night?
Oh no, I never. Are you kidding?
Well, the echo.
Drinking what? Water? Yes.
Yes,
course.
water. I was drinking water last night. There's no question about it. Nice, run it by, make sure. Well, see, that's what I like about it. We get everything, get the sound taken care of and all the rest of it. And, we like it.
Yeah.
The show, for people who might have just jumped in, all the rest of it's going to be an hour and a half long, like podcasts are supposed to be, which is good. And then we'll do the family show 15 minutes after this show. So they're not going to bump up against one another anymore. So you can be a very selective listener, either to the morning show, to the family show, or both. It's up to you. It's a good way to do it. Just leaving it up to people, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would recommend both. Because why would you want to get one without the other? But to each his own. Yeah.
That's like the burger without the fries. You know, that's the banana without the split. It's separate. They're okay, but together it's a great combo.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think you're 100% correct there. Okay, now, so we got about 9 minutes in this deal, so I want to run those things by you again.
Yeah.
Should I read, and Andy, you weren't here when I first read them. You liking the sound, Andy? Come together for you?
There's still a little bit of fuzziness, but it's on our end now. Well, I mean, not now, but it's been that way.
Why? It's fuzzy? Because I don't hear the fuzziness.
It's very, very subtle. I don't think without studio headphones you would be able to tell.
Oh, okay.
But I can tell. How do I in my headphones I sound fine to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah,
you sound good.
Yeah, I think both of you sound good. I can just hear the like almost like the power current type sound.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like the what you're talking about, the feedback.
Like a slight hum.
Like the
what if I do this?
Yeah, now it's on.
That would be the ventilation system in here because for some reason their thermostat was set to 83 when I walked in. So I had to kick on the AC. Otherwise, we might die in this room.
Yeah, I wonder who set it on 83 like last week.
Yeah, well, it could have been that, or it
I
could
don't
be
know.
your schedule messed up.
The schedule? Yeah, we got to get it scheduled.
I hate those thermostat schedules. They're obnoxious.
So we're good. Yeah, I understand that. I don't know why they ever did that. It makes no sense to me either. But in any case, got a great guest coming up in just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Jesse Kove will join us. Season 5 of NBC's Magnum PI, currently available on Peacock. You guys like that show?
Magnum PI, yeah, he's been in Cobra Kai too. I would say I was more of a Cobra Kai fan.
Yep.
But yeah, Magnum PI was, it was okay for what
his dad was in Cobra Kai. Was he in Cobra Kai too? Because
Because
Martin Kove is his dad.
I thought he was in. Maybe it was just his dad. Or no, yeah, he was in there. He was like one of the bullies. Yeah, he was one of the bullies in season 3. It looks like.
He looks like a bully.
Yeah,
let me just put it that way. He looks very bully-like.
He looks like the lead character in every high school movie. Like,
really?
Yeah, he's like the jock guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys ever talk to Martin Kove, his father?
No, I have not.
He is one strange guy, man. I did an interview with him, I suppose, a couple years ago, and I would ask him a question, and the woman who was with him in the studio would repeat the question to him, and then he would answer it, which I don't really understand. You can hear me. Why does she have to tell you what I just said?
Yeah, unless it's a different language, like we can just have a conversation.
That's
There you go. Oh, they have him listed though. That Jesse Kove is the son of pop culture icon Martin Kove. So he's a pop culture icon. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I wonder what level of fame you have to get to be considered an icon. Kind of like the assassination versus murdered. Like what level of stuff?
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. You're making a good point, no question about it. But okay, so do you want me to read? Because we haven't enough time to get a story in here, which I'm glad for that. Would you rather hear if you like coffee black, you might be a psychopath, or someone ordered delivery and left this note, knock quietly, I'm supposed to be on a diet, which I think you leave a message about be quiet, I'm not supposed to be eating. That's real nice.
We can go with the delivery one if you're feeling that one.
You want the delivery one? Okay, we'll go with the delivery one. I'll read that one because it's got to be a good story, I would imagine. It's, When you order food delivery now, you can usually customize the drop-off, the contactless deliveries during the pandemic, like then. A restaurant in the UK recently got an amusing request in the delivery notes section. It said, knock quietly, I'm supposed to be on a diet. Whatever the diet was, this was definitely a cheat meal one way or the other. The order was for a 9-inch Texas barbecue-style pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Why only 9-inch? Get the big, man.
Who was on a diet?
You're right.
Well, that's I forgot. Yeah, so the 9-inch.
If you're cheating, though, that's the meal to do it with. A Texas barbecue-style pizza.
Yep.
Oh, plenty good. Oh, wait a minute. That's not where it ended. There's the problem.
Uh-oh.
The order was for a 9-inch Texas barbecue-style pizza, a double chocolate ice cream waffle with chocolate sauce, and a Dr. Pepper. A little sugar.
Right. Also, I don't care how quietly the delivery driver knocks. Where are you going to go eat this where your significant other doesn't notice you're gone for, a half an hour to eat this pizza and chocolate waffle?
I love that stuff. Honest to God, there's tons of sugar in barbecue sauce. There's tons of sugar in double chocolate ice cream waffles. There's tons of sugar in chocolate sauce, and there's tons of sugar in a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sugar, man.
Yeah, it's like those people that stop at McDonald's on the way home and shamefully eat the burger and fries in the driveway before they get in.
That's pretty good, man. The restaurant posted a photo of the receipt and said that they made sure the driver honored the request because they didn't want to betray the customer's trust. See, there you go. That's very nice, though.
Yeah,
Also, like, you kind of betrayed it by posting this to social media because somebody probably found out.
Yeah, Terry J. Hayes ordered this. I hope his missus doesn't see.
Yeah. So his wife is probably like, don't you love barbecue brisket pizza and chocolate waffles, like she probably can put 2 and 2 together and figure out that it was him.
Yeah, don't you? You're absolutely right. There's no question about it. So that actually worked out better than I thought it would, because I didn't know that he had gone. Oh, I shouldn't say. Does it say he was a he, or did I just assume that? It doesn't really say. So it was a man or a woman. But the amazing thing about it is, if you're going to cheat, I suppose you would order the 3-4 the things you like best, correct?
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you got to really commit. You can't just go halfway.
That sounds like you're wrecking like the rest of your day.
Oh yeah,
and that's fine. If you think it's worth it.
I have a question for you. If you're on a diet and then you break your diet by eating this, wouldn't all that sugar give you an extreme headache?
Yeah, I think it depends on how long you've been on your diet, because if you were on a very strict diet and then now all of a sudden you do this drastic change, it's definitely going to mess with your body chemistry. But if it, wasn't that big of a switch up, or if it was pretty recent, it might not hurt him that much.
Yeah, I guess. That's a lot of sugar for one day, though, don't you think?
Yeah, regardless if you're on a diet or not, that's probably not an advised meal.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so in any case. Okay, so we do actually have time. I'm really happy about this. We have time for the other story, too. If you like your coffee black, you might be a psychopath. Oh, you celebrating that, are you?
Oh, I'm just happy we got time for 2 stories. Are you kidding?
I know. I agree. You're absolutely right.
There we go.
Well, we'll get this new timing down. It'll be magnificent. It's a different timing. You're right about that.
We're knocking the rust off. That's all.
That's exactly what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. If you like your coffee black, you might be a psychopath. I do not like my coffee black. I like a little sweetener and a little cream in there. You guys drink coffee? I'm not a big coffee drinker. I like the taste of it, but I just never drink it.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big coffee person.
You're not, are you?
Like Brittany, she used to bring coffee in for AJ and her, and she's like, yeah, I just don't even ask you what you want because I know you're not gonna drink it.
Yeah, I like coffee. I can't do it black though. I need something that.
Oh God.
I feel like if I have a cup of black coffee, like it just sits in my stomach. I need creamer, just something,
It's got to be like a turtle mocha latte, cappuccino, something.
Talk dirty to me.
One thing I will tell all three of you, you didn't, I think, well, I'm almost certain that you didn't have to go through this period. When I was a young child and a teenager, coffee like Folgers or Maxwell House or whatever came in a can.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. You could taste the can in the coffee. Mm-hmm. You could. It was like, oh my God.
Wasn't it the best part of waking up was Folgers in your cup?
Folgers in your cup. That's exactly right. Yeah, I don't know. My mother was a big coffee drinker. Like I said, the cup of coffee and the cigarette, and she was ready to go. She had her Folgers and she had her Winston or whatever it was. She's good to go.
Did it taste good like a cigarette should?
I suppose that's probably true. Do you take your coffee black? Congratulations, you might be a psycho. Social media is obsessed with an old study from 2016. I don't know how old a study that is. Only 8 years ago. An old study from 8 years ago.
Officer Dave only drinks black coffee.
Uh-oh.
We got a psycho officer out there.
Yep.
Is it good to have a 6'4", 310-pound psychopath in the studio?
No, caffeinated? No.
Definitely.
Yes, the caffeine is the problem part of that equation.
Yeah,
only decaf for him.
Yes.
I agree. An old study from 2016 found that you're more likely to be a psychopath if you enjoy things that are bitter, things like black coffee, dark chocolate, and gin and tonic. Are gin and tonics bitter?
Depends on how much tonic you put in there.
Oh, is it?
Tonic water is extremely bitter. I hate it.
Okay. It looked at the food and drink preferences of 1,000 Americans and at personality traits like how narcissistic, aggressive, and sadistic they were. It found that people who like bitter stuff are more likely to have the types of antisocial qualities psychopaths have, and they were more likely to take pleasure in seeing other people suffer. See, that's one thing I never understood. Two things I do not understand about human beings, and run these by you guys. I do not wish to see other people suffer because I don't want to suffer, so why would I want to watch you suffer, right?
Right.
I mean, does that make any sense to you?
No.
Well, ostensibly, you're not a psychopath then. So that makes
I suppose
sense.
that's probably true. And the other thing that drives me insane, and again, that's another reason I'm glad that I'm not very political anymore because I've aged out of it, I guess is the best way to put it. I do not understand going out of your way to harm another person Because if you harm them, you're harming their spouse, their children, their grandchildren. But do they never think about that part, that if I go after somebody and they have a family, I'm harming the family probably more than I'm harming them, don't you think?
Yeah, nobody thinks about that. They just look at the immediate person they're hurting.
So do you think they're too dim to understand that?
I think they just kind of look at it as, well, that's collateral damage. Like, if you didn't want, they look at it as, like if I'm hurting, person A, then person A should have thought about that.
Yeah.
With, in regards to their family.
I suppose it's true. Well, we have to take a break. We'll be right back in a couple minutes. Jesse Kove will join us right after this.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Listen to how she does that. This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. She's like sucking her voice down. Do you hear that?
Yeah. It's like she's trying to outdo you. This isn't competition, man.
It all works out. Let me know when Jesse's ready to go, if you would.
All set.
He's good to go now. Ladies and gentlemen, Season 5 of NBC's Magnum PI, currently available on Peacock. Son of pop culture icon Martin Kove, Jesse Kove, our special guest. There's a lot of pressure on you having a very famous dad, Jesse.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
The Tom Barnard Podcast, Jesse. Oh, you know what? I want to call in. When you're doing Magnum PI, I want to call in and I'm going to kill this guy if you don't get over here right now. I can sound very evil. What do you think?
You know how fun it is to do those voices when you're actually on set? It's like, I did this Western with Kevin Sorbo like a month ago, and Hercules, of course, and he's such a nice man.
Great guy.
Great time. And there was a scene where he and I are like facing off, and it was one of those things where two actors' voices just kept getting lower and lower. It was like he says something like, "Why don't we take this outside?" And I say like, "Well, let's go then." And then it's like, "We'll do it again." And he goes, "Why don't we take this outside? Let's go then."
Well, you're a big fella. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. You're intimidating the way it is, aren't you, Jesse?
I mean, thank you. I'm like 6'3", and I do enjoy playing villains, but I'm a nice guy in real life. I love animals. I'm super kind to animals and people. That's one thing I love about, in the world is everyone needs to be just a little bit kinder. But I do appreciate a good, having a good edge and rock and roll and being rebellious at the same time.
You know what, Jesse, I agree with you 100% on that. It is time for everyone. I know it's the political season and we're going to have a president, whether a new one or the same one or whatever. people, I think, do need to focus on being kinder to one another because everybody's kind of a prick right now, and it's getting old. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's just people are. I think everybody's with the modern day of technology. Everyone wants everything instant gratification right now. Need this now. Hurry up. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was like everything kind of took a little bit more time to get things done, and you kind of appreciated that stuff a little bit more. So now it's like everybody, even when people get on an airplane, and it's like I don't even think people appreciate flight anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think you're probably right. An iconic series, Magnum PI. What were your thoughts when they came to you and said, "Hey, look, Jesse, let's do this. Let's do Magnum PI." It's an iconic show. There's no question about that. Did you have in your mind an idea of how you wanted to play the role your way from the very begining?
Oh well, I was floored when I first got this audition. I read part of the episode, and there was this. The cool thing was that my character was, you think he's good and then he's bad, which is always fun to play, to see that that switch. And then me and Jay Hernandez, who plays Magnum, we end up having this like shootout and a huge fight in an elevator, like this crazy brawl in an elevator with a knife, and just. I mean, it was just so much fun, and that to me was just really, really exciting. And I helped close out the series. It was the series finale. There was nothing else after that. The show's done, so it was really exciting to be a part of that, and I felt very lucky to be there with the whole cast and crew. At the end.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. That's great. It's great to hear. It shows you have you care and you have a personality. That's a good thing, Jesse.
No, thank you. I try.
You try to get it going. There's no question. One thing I will tell you, Jesse, is you did inherit something from your father. They sent a picture along with the descriptor and all the rest of it. And you're looking at me right now from the piece of paper I have in front of me. You and your father can get a very intimidating look on your face. Where did you learn that? Maybe you learned it from him, and where did he learn it from?
My dad grew up in the streets of New York. He didn't have anything handed. He didn't have anything handed to him, so he fought his way to get to where he is, and he definitely imparted some of that onto me. And my dad's really a sweet man, and he always makes the joke that he cries at supermarket openings. And
okay,
but he's my dad is definitely he's definitely from the old school, which I think is probably the best school there is. So I've been really lucky to be around that. And just fight for what you believe in, and not taking no for an answer. And there's we both love playing bad guys and characters with an edge. So I think there's something that runs in the family there.
Well, I think that's probably right. I've interviewed your father several times over. I've been doing radio and podcasting for about 53 years now, so I've pretty much talked to everybody ever born, I guess. That at some point. I did find it interesting. The last couple of times that I interviewed your father, he had a woman with him, and I would ask a question, and then she would ask him the question, which I thought that was really interesting. Because they didn't tell me there were going to be two people. I just thought it was going to be Martin, and go on from. I mean, it didn't bother me. Don't get me wrong, not at all. But it was kind of cool in the way.
Was it over Zoom or was it a phone call?
I do not remember that because it was a couple of years ago, but he's always been a very, very good interview, very interesting guy. I would say, wouldn't you say your father's a very interesting person?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for saying that. He truly is. I mean, we have very deep conversations about life and history and, the way of the world. And he's definitely not your average Joe, walking down the street. He looks at life a little bit differently. And, if you just start a conversation with him, you'll go down those roads with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly, you just basically said exactly what I went through because, and I shouldn't say went through, once I experienced is a better way to put it. I just, like I said, I like people who don't just come on. The great thing about that is it showed that he cared about the interview, like you have so far this morning. The ones that I have a problem with is people go, yes, no. It's like, wait a minute. You wanted me to book you as a guest and you won't talk to me? That's very interesting.
Yeah, I can't stand that. I don't like tolerating that kind of stuff. Even when I see that kind of mentality on set, I nip it in the butt really quickly. I just don't appreciate that stuff. You know, making film and television is already hard enough as it is. If someone's being like a diva or someone's got an ego or something, I immediately try to check them because there's just no place for that. I don't care how famous you are. It doesn't matter. Like, we're all here to do something great, and people are working hard to make you look great and special. And so I'm someone who's, especially, learning from my dad, I'm someone who grew up in the business. So seeing anything like that, even on radio shows or podcasts, I just think it's really disrespectful.
No, I don't think there's any question. Well, let me put it this way. I would, after talking to you, I hope you do come back because I'd love to talk to you again anytime, as a matter of fact. But your mother and father did a hell of a job raising you, Jesse. You're a good guy. You do a good interview.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me. And I want everybody to check out my new Western that just came out with my dad. It's called Far Haven. They can pick up the DVD at Walmart. It's also available on Amazon and iTunes right now. Far Haven.
That wasn't on the descriptor. It's called Far Haven?
Yes. It's a great new Western that we just did, and it's a really good one.
Okay, I'll close out with that voice again. If you're in it, I'll watch it. What do you think?
I like that. Check out Far Haven.
Demand now. On demand now. Thank you, sir. Great interview, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Jesse Kove, ladies and gentlemen, talking about Magnum PI. He's got Far Haven, his new movie's out. Semi-handsome fella. Did you see his picture?
Yeah, he's pretty dashing, I would say.
I would say he's a pretty handsome guy, But yeah, I mean, his father was an interesting guy to interview. And what's nice about that is you got a second-generation actor. His father, very well-known, obviously. But it just kind of shows that his mother and father did a hell of a job raising him because he's not an arrogant prick at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times you get that second or third generation is like, oh, don't you have an edge to you?
Oh, absolutely. You hear, all the time you hear, they grew up with money, they feel entitled and all of that.
Yep.
He doesn't have any of those qualities.
He does not. He was great. Jesse Kove, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, I love Magnum PI anyway. It's a great show. Don't you think?
Yeah. And I'm going to have to check out this other movie. I love Westerns. So Far Haven is going to be moving to the top of my list.
I got to be honest with you. What is that? Because I love Westerns too, and I don't know why. I just love them.
I don't know. It's just I like cowboys and pirates have always got me. So anything around those two, sign me up.
I wonder if it's because it's not really covered in school, so you don't dive into the American West in as much detail. So it feels more like a fairy tale, and you forget that, oh no, this was a real time in American history.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you guys do like Western, did you watch Bass Reeves?
No.
Oh, give it a whirl. It's a true story about the first black sheriff in the South. It's really good. It's a Western, and the casting is perfect. Really, really good stories. Yeah, it's called Bass Reeves. I was trying to think. Well, you can find it. Just type it in. It'll tell you where it is and all the rest of it. But, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a break here. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Look at the lineup. We got Kristyn Burtt. We got Tim Lammers. We'll be right back right after this. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust, who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan. A sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
What do you think of that action? You haven't heard from Kristyn Burtt yet? Oh, there she is. She did pop up there.
We got her.
There you are.
I've been here for like 5 minutes.
Why not?
Ahead of your last segment.
I didn't have that knowledge. What a nice guy Jesse Kove is. Did you listen to the interview?
I literally caught it as he was like, goodbye, thank you.
Oh, you did? Okay. Do you know him at all? Martin Kove, obviously his father. But Jesse, what a straight ahead. Because once in a while, and I know, Kristyn, you've been through this. I should mention this. Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. But you, in your career, have many times, I'm sure, interviewed people who would be the son of or the daughter of or whatever, and they have this attitude like, well, let's see. My father was a very, very popular big shot, so I think I'll be a prick to everyone.
Sometimes they don't want to talk about their parents at all because
I know.
the Nepo baby label it's a struggle for them. And I understand, like, so many doors open for them in their career, but at the same time, once the doors are open, they're fighting those open doors the whole time. So it's really a challenge. But I just want to say I covered Martin Kove during Dancing with the Stars. He did it a couple seasons ago. But I have to say I'm a huge Cobra Kai fan. So he couldn't really dance, but he was so sweet and was up for the challenge, even if, he didn't really learn how to waltz. But
are they going to come back with a 6th season, or is it a 7th season? I know, they have
there's
more
one
season,
final season remaining.
That's right. And it's the 6th season, I think.
6th, yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah. Catherine and I watched that show too, and I'm kind of shocked that I watched that show because I don't usually like karate shows with high schoolers and that kind of thing. You guys ever watch that show, Cobra Kai?
I'm obsessed.
I was kind of in the same boat as you, Tom. I was like, I saw the movie. I don't think I need to see a TV show, but hearing the reviews of it might be something I want to check out.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good stuff. Like that's, it seems like one of those they're making it just for the sake of like the name recognition and the Karate Kid. Let's cash in while we can. Right. But I've heard nothing but good stuff, so I need to check it out.
The writing is smart, and if you've watched, I would highly suggest at least watching the first Karate Kid if you haven't watched it before, or refresh yourself. You just need the first movie's fine, and then you just go into it because there's some nostalgia things, some callbacks, and things like that. But what really got me is the stunt work is astonishing on this. I am not an action person at all, and it is beautiful to watch. They really showcase karate in a wonderful way.
Yeah, no question about it. It is a good show. But no, I was I'll move on. I know I'm dwelling a little bit, but Jesse Kove, he really impressed me because once in a while, because his dad does have an edge to him. He's a very nice guy, but he does have an edge, right?
Definitely on camera. His characters always are the villain, but he's a very nice guy in person.
See that? I believe that 100% after talking to his son, because his son's a great guy. First time I ever talked to him. Really, really decent person. I was just telling these guys about Bass Reeves. We finished, Catherine and I finished the series. Have you seen it, Kristyn?
I've seen a couple of episodes, but I haven't finished the season or anything else like that. But because I've literally done 3 award shows in 8 days. Thank you very much. I was up last night. I wrote 11 articles yesterday, so if I look a little tired today,
you don't. You look great.
Or if I have carpal tunnel syndrome, y'all know why.
Nope, you're covered. You're good to go. You look great. There's no question about it.
No, it was a long day, and I had a couple radio hits too for the Emmys, and it was super fun. But it's to do 3 large shows because it was Critics' Choice, Golden Globes, and the Primetime Emmys in that short span. Obviously, the Primetime Emmys We're from 2023, left over from the strike. So we'll have another Primetime Emmys in 8 months. So we'll be back here very soon.
You'll be tired again.
We'll be tired again. But just it's really unusual. But some of the stars that had to attend all 3 shows, you could tell there was a little bit of fatigue last night.
What do you think of the Emmy choices on Succession?
You know, there were 3 shows that won, and that's pretty much it. It was Succession, it was The Bear, and it was Beef. So those are the shows that Hollywood sort of like crowned for 2023. I loved all 3 shows, to be honest. I thought the wins were all justified, including Succession. And I want to say that was probably the best Emmys we have seen in a decade. Because it was the 75th anniversary. Did you watch, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
You watched the show last night?
Yeah.
You never watch award. Is anyone else shocked like me?
Never.
I thought I was like, I must have heard him wrong because I think he said
right. That's why I doubled back. Wait, I doubled back.
You know why though? I watched it because I'm a big fan of Succession. Plus, I have I like all 3 shows, to tell you the truth. But Succession, I really like, because Kieran Culkin is a very, very special guy in reality and on screen. What a prick he is on that show. It's phenomenal.
And he's so adorable in person.
He is.
You just know he's fun to hang out with. I thought that the callbacks, all in the nostalgia, like some of the TV reunions, whether it was All in the Family or Martin, or they did Ally McBeal, they were all great because it was the 75th anniversary. It completely makes sense. The In Memoriam, I thought, was done very tastefully. Sometimes they try and do something really different, and you're like, oh, that was cringe. And Christina Applegate, like getting out there and crying and then making everyone laugh at the same time was just a really great moment.
Right. No question about that. So, yes, I confess I did watch. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched some of it, and quite a bit of it, actually. And I think, Catherine and I really, really like Succession a lot. And, Ali Wong, I've always enjoyed her. She's a wonderful, very nice person.
Ali Wong had, and I don't know who the interviewer was, but she's a stand-up comedian. And obviously interviewing Ali Wong was kind of like a dream come true for her.
Right.
And I have to say, the stand-up comedian was very nervous and was kind of making jokes, but Ali went with it. Did exactly like a yes and kind of added to it or quipped back and made her feel so comfortable. And I was like, that was so gracious of her, because it was clear that she was interviewing her idol. And I was like, it just made me love Ali Wong even more, because some celebrities will just railroad you if you're nervous or you ask a question or you trip or a joke lands flat. And Ali just was like, I'm here for you. I got you. And it was on E! News. And I thought, yes, that is exactly why Ali Wong deserves all the success, because she understands what she needs to do on camera. But there's also that sort of PR and marketing thing that you need to do to be really successful. And she's got it.
It's interesting you bring that up, because I was thinking about that. Being around for 53 years doing morning shows and podcasts and all that stuff, I've interviewed just about everybody that's ever been born. And one thing I really enjoy is that this current generation has really stepped up, and they're really good, because in reality, this generation is much more reserved than we were. While being reserved, they're also very judgmental, don't you think?
I don't think we're judgmental. I would say that younger generations are just calling out what's wrong and trying to make it right.
And that would be judgmental.
In a good way, though.
Well, we'll see if you were right about it being wrong or not, though. That's the problem, right? Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me you're 21 years old? Is that what you're saying? I'm not.
I'm saying I'm Gen X. I'm Gen X. That's not a secret. But I think that. But I think it's interesting watching millennials, but particularly Gen Y, of them just saying, nope, not going to accept that in the workplace. Which, I feel like Gen X was like, yeah, this isn't a good idea. Maybe planted the seed, and then millennials took it a couple more steps. But Gen Y is like, we're running the marathon and we're not going to stop until it's done. And I really appreciate that about Gen Y.
As long as they deliver on it.
Yeah. And kind of like Kristyn, kind of piggyback on what you're saying. I feel like you went from being no more is it, because it's always been this way, so this is the way it's always going to be. Like they go like, well, just because it was that way doesn't mean we can make it better. Like I feel like that's kind of the route that they take.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and just simple things like how women are treated in the workplace. A lot of the sexual harassment, even I went through in all sorts of facets when I worked in a restaurant and when I worked in a movie theater and when I worked in the entertainment industry. It's all happened. And even just those even small imperceptible changes, in addition to all the big sweeping changes, but the small ones of feeling empowered to just say, you can't say that. No, or I'm not going to go with that, or stop it. So I think that has shifted, and that stuff is good.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. So, got about a minute. Any closing shows you're going to tell me about that I will really enjoy?
Yeah, just a couple of things to look out for in the late night space. After Midnight premieres tonight. And that takes James Corden's spot, if everyone remembers that, on CBS. And it's from the old Comedy Central kind of game show. But Taylor Tomlinson, we got a female in late night. This is her big night tonight. So we'll see how that goes and see how that shakes up the ratings. There's a great June Carter Cash documentary. If anyone is interested in country music, it's on Paramount Plus. Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Reese Witherspoon's all in it, which is really amazing. And it's the season finale of Fargo tonight.
The season finale. We actually just finished season 4, which was phenomenal, and we're going to start season 5 now, and the last one's on tonight, huh?
Yeah, for season 5. So perfect for you, because now you can just dive into the whole season and not have to worry about waiting for another episode.
That's exactly right. But I tell you what, that show, those boys are from Minnesota, the Coen brothers, from Minnesota, and I've pretty much enjoyed everything they've ever done. They're really, really good.
They're so talented. They're dark humor. They do dark humor in such a way that you're like, I'm not upset that I just laughed at something that was so horrific.
Yeah, there's a good way to put it.
People in a wood chipper, no big deal.
Yeah, we're going to talk to you tomorrow, I hope.
Yes, I will be back on Wednesday.
Right. Thanks very much. Kristyn Burtt, Entertainment News, brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Timmy Lammers is going to join us in a couple minutes, so let me know when he's... What?
He actually is not. He's going to be on for the family hour, he said.
Well,
there was some sort of...
We had a last-minute schedule that happened during your talk with Kristyn.
So you guys just dropped the ball. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I got Butterfingers all over the studio.
We're fine. This is going to be interesting because podcasts should be about an hour and a half long at the most, hour 35, something like that. So to do a 3-hour one, thank you for your patience through all that stuff, but we tried to get everything in there we possibly could. And then the idea from day one was to cut it about in half because I think it was as a favor to me transitioning from doing a morning show that morning show at one point was 5 hours long.
That's insane.
That was a long morning show, man, I'll tell you that. But yeah, they gave me that 10-month period where I kind of segued from I did radio into doing a radio length podcast. Now the podcast is the length it should be. It's an hour and a half long. There's going to be a 15-minute break between this show and then the family podcast, that runs about 55 minutes, something like that. So we are right where we need to be, thank God, and thanks to everybody over at Hubbard. And I mean, not Amy and Dan, but everybody else, right?
Yeah, right. That means I'm included. So you're welcome, Tom.
That means I'm included. So therefore, aren't you a big shot?
Oh,
No, I think it's, look, to sit here and schmooze with people and all the rest of it. And I did like the fact that when I came on this morning, I talked about the fact that while watching, and it did strike me last night while watching the caucus, the Iowa caucuses, and I don't think all generations ever did this, that it is time to pass the baton. I mean, you should definitely vote. I'm not saying you shouldn't vote, but basically I think there's a middle generation and a much younger generation now voting. And I do think, it's not that I'm not going to vote. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm still going to vote. But to have a political, like I said, I've been a Democrat. I've been a Republican. I'm pretty much a centrist now. I think what got me there was stuff I didn't like about both sides. Mm-hmm. There are things about both parties I never really cared for. I don't like extreme politics, either way left or way right. I'm not a fan of that at all. But I can't see you guys liking that much either.
No, like anytime there's, the extreme, hey, we're all going to do that. Like, leave me out of that. Like,
I kind of like, it's going to be interesting watching this election. It sure does appear that it's going to be President Biden and former President Trump running against each other. In your age bracket, what do you think of that? You got a couple of guys, one's already 80, the other one would be 80 in office. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's terrible. Like, it's
well, be honest though. Yeah. Be honest with me.
What are your real feelings?
Right. No, I just don't know. I think they're just, if they were each, 10 years younger, I think it would change a lot, but they just are old and they haven't aged well. I feel like their age is showing, and it's like, even if somebody that was younger had the same beliefs as both of them, it would be more acceptable just because you would feel that there's more hope that they can actually do the job. Like, I don't think they can physically do the job.
Yeah, everybody loves, like in sports, the old crafty veteran that, nothing's wrong with getting the young 26-year-old that can throw 100 miles per hour in there,
Right.
Strike them out 1, 2, 3. Like, give me somebody who's quick and efficient with their
Can
work.
We get a young rookie president instead of the aging veteran that we like, Brett Favre getting off the plane from Louisiana, come save the Vikings.
Well, see, and I think that's a very fair assessment. I really do. And it did, and like I said, I don't know if it was a coincidence or what the situation was. Getting it down to a podcast-sized show, which I've been a big fan of. To do, again, still doing 4 hours a day was kind of, it's a lot of talking. I will tell you that. So to cut it from 4 hours down to 2.5 hours with both shows, plus there's a break between the two shows, it's going to be, it's much easier to collect your thoughts and get the ideas in your head clear between the shows or before the show or whatever. But so I like it a lot. You did a good job, and we will talk to you tomorrow. That's very loud, too.
Sure is. Damn.
All right, we're setting up new studios, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the family with
Packmaster Ralph Basher, MD.
Alex Bernard Rasmussen.
Andy Bernard, I guess. What are you doing?
Co-host Catherine Brandt. Hi, Mike.
Why are you staring at Mike? You're staring at Mike like Mike's
I didn't know he was going to be on. Hey.
Oh, you didn't?
He sure is.
Good to see you.
Mike, how you doing?
Oh.
Mike cannot hear us.
Are you sure?
Mike
He's not responding.
is not responding.
I don't think there's anything that we can do about that.
No, there isn't.
I'm guessing his volume might be down.
Yeah, there's a possibility.
Should we call him? Can we call him?
Yeah, here, why don't you give him a buzz?
Can he see?
It's on there somewhere.
I'll text him.
Let's talk amongst ourselves. Hey, listen, this is a brand new format we're setting up. We've shortened the family. Well, we haven't shortened the family hour. We shortened the morning show.
Yep.
The intention was to go from a 5-hour morning show at the Q to a 4-hour morning show at the Q, and then to come over here, do a 3-hour morning show, and eventually settle in at a 1.5 hour, which is a much better podcast length anyway. And we've gotten there today, so we've got new equipment and new this and new that. We're just trying to figure it all out. We got to get.
Look at this, Mike. Look at your phone. I just texted you.
He can't hear us.
He can't hear anything.
I know.
Point at your phone.
I wish I knew. Mike, look at your phone.
Look at phone.
Mike.
Phone.
I don't know.
Can we just?
I think he just figured it out.
Oh, did he?
I think he figured out what you were.
Wait a minute.
Asking about. Yeah.
I just asked if he's muted.
Oh, because we can't hear him either.
We can't hear him either. Yeah.
Now he's frozen.
Now he's frozen. Uh-oh. I think Mike's phone might not be doing too hot.
Or can anybody call Mike and fix this behind the scenes? See if we can get it on here.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to give this to you, Andy, and hopefully
that
he'll
any
answer
better?
the phone. Call him.
Like I said, all new equipment. It takes some
Answer the
settling
phone,
in.
Mike.
Oh, new equipment.
Oh
Yeah, he should.
Yeah,
Would
now
you
he's-
call Don and ask him to call him?
Yeah, now he's
or you can
frozen
call him
again.
directly.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Is it ringing?
It is, but he's not answering.
Yeah, I think that we're going to have to get a hold of Don, I think.
Yeah.
To try to figure it out somehow. Like I said, it's the first day of new equipment, ladies and gentlemen, so this is going to happen. It's not a big deal, but we're having Mike Lindell on because he has went through a rough patch, and that's the one thing I will tell you, that we are, my family, kind of people that if you were a friend, we will support our friend. You go through some tough times, we want to hear what it's all about and all the rest of it, so being a loyal friend is very important to me and my family, as a matter of fact. We'll get Mike straightened away one of these.
There we
days.
go.
There he is. What happened? Andy just went.
I don't know. The mic said I was on, but here I am.
Okay,
Andy,
wonderful.
Did you fix it somehow?
I didn't do anything.
Oh, so, well, Mike must have fixed it.
I
And
know,
I got it all fixed
you were
now.
spinning around and frozen. It was very interesting.
Okay.
Mike, we were just talking about some things, and loyalty is very, very important to me. I know it's important to you. You've been my friend for years. You supported my shows for years and all the rest of it. You go through a rough patch. I'm not going to be. I suppose some people just kind of back away. Oh, I don't want to get involved. Look, if you're my friend, you're my friend. I will support you. You are my friend. I don't care for Dawn much, but other than that.
Dawn's the best. She's the best.
So I was kind of shocked because, I'm not going to name any specific numbers because I don't know specific numbers, but after spending millions and millions of dollars with Fox, yeah, we can just say it's with Fox.
It's out there. It's not a
What is
secret.
this all about, Mike? What the hell happened?
Well, it's pretty interesting. We've been with them since 2014, November of 2014. We spend about an average of $1 million a week.
Oh.
And every time they had, every time their hosts at night where it, said something and all the other advertisers left, my pillow stuck with them. I didn't take anything I was doing out there. Everything I was doing, speaking out for whatever it would be at the time, we separated that. And if these, that's back when I was on CNN and MSNBC and everywhere. And
right.
We kept our advertising separate. My employees, if I didn't advertise the places where I didn't like, I wouldn't have too many places to advertise.
I suppose.
And so, but what happened then this summer, it was like August, September, because I want to secure our election platforms, they went after my pillow. I announced a plan to do that in August. And the attack on my pillow, it's like they turned it up 10 notches. We were debanked. We were merchant server, American Express. All these attacks came in on my pillow, which, by the way, is an employee-owned company. I just happen to be the biggest stockholder. I think it's disgusting they all went after them. Well, then Fox News jumped on the pile about September or October, and they said, we want your 90-day credit you've always had. We want to squish it into 60 days. And I said, okay, fine. What else can happen? Well, in November, they did that. And we said, fine, we've squished it down now. We are well within our credit limit. We spent about $1 million a week in December. And then last week, I have my own network, Lindell TV at frankspeech.com. And we added Lou Dobbs. Remember, Fox fired them. Fox fired them about 3 years ago for speaking out about elections. And his first interview was Donald Trump. So that was on last Monday. On Wednesday, we went, my media, now I don't buy directly from Fox. It's a media company I've had for about 15 years, 20 years. And they called me back. We were giving them a commercial. When we test our commercials that we put out there, we gave Fox a couple new commercials on Wednesday. And we said, and money, and said we want to do a test. And they said, no, they would not accept our money. I'm going, what? And they go, yeah, there's something weird going on here. They just said, we're not taking any more of your ads and the money to do the test, right? So it was very strange. And I went through Thursday and I said, you know what? This is political. I believe like in 2020, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook would not let me come on. Mark would not let me come on Facebook to do ads on Facebook if it had my picture in it, because I was so branded with Donald Trump. He considered a political ad. So we had to scrub all the MyPillow ads back then. Now, I think Fox might be doing the same thing, that they don't want me to be seen up to the 2024 election, because I believe that they do not want Donald Trump in. That's just what I'm, because we've reached out to Fox. I reached out to Suzanne Scott, or my media company has, and the CEO of Fox, and say, if you can't explain it to everybody, there's another hidden agenda. And when I went public with this on Friday morning to put pressure on them, like, you know what, you're not going to just cancel me because of me, my pillow, because the CEO happens to speak out and have other things going on in his life. And of course, then the media spun it. Like, by the time the night came, Mike Lindell owes money. If he pays us, he pays us, we'll gladly put his ads up. Well, that's funny. You turned down money on Wednesday, $500,000. I mean, we're well within our credit limit. In other words, they're saying, hey, we're going to close down your credit, if this is what I'm hearing. But I don't know if Fox said this or not. This is all the media putting all these stories out there. So I don't know where that's at. And I'm going, if Fox really did say that, what are you saying, Fox? Now you squished our credit once. Now you're going to call in all our credit. We've been a great partner for 14 or 15 years. It's disgusting, Tom. Just disgusting.
I don't really understand it. Before we came on, we had a little trouble connecting at first, because this is a brand new format for us, as a matter of fact. And Andy, thank God, is here with Alex, is running she's the chief engineer now.
Look at her.
Right.
Alex, big shot. I heard about this, and I've talked about this on the show before today, but I'll repeat what I've been saying. Mike, it's gotten very, very weird that I cannot watch CNN, but now I can't watch Fox either. They're so incredibly arrogant. Yeah. Why do these news people think that sitting there with this arrogant, smug look on their face is a good delivery? What happened? Are their ratings way off or something?
Yeah, they really are. You got to wonder. This. Like our ads that we bought from Fox in December, and we were paying, it's about $1 million a week, and they didn't perform. And when an ad doesn't perform, with MyPillow, we're the best temperature. We know how much your audience is just by what we take in on our MyPillow ads. And it's way down, and I'm going, so then you got to ask yourself, why would a network bench their number one host, their number one draw, which was Tucker last spring, and put him on the bench, and now you're going to bench your number one advertiser? I've heard we're either number one or number two all the time. So you're going to bench your number one advertiser. Now, are you allergic to money? It doesn't make sense. So there's got to be another agenda. We don't know what that is, but I can only be, guess right now, and until I talk to them directly. I never talk to them directly. It's always my media company, who is very much in shock that they won't accept money for ads. But I will say this too: Fox has banned any ad for Frank Speech or Lindell TV going all the way back 3 years now to the summer of 21, where they wouldn't even advertise an event I had. Now, I understand that they're afraid of the competition, maybe, but so they are. MyPillow would have nothing to do with that. So but I thought back then when they banned those ads, I go, what if they ever just banned MyPillow ads? As part of this cancel culture that's been going on. And sure enough, here it's come full circle. Which brings up another thing. Maybe they did fear, because we had over 3 million people that we have as our base over at Frank Speech and Lindell TV. And maybe when Lou Dobbs aired talking to our real president last Monday, maybe Fox finally said, you know what, we can't compete with this. We've got to do something here. I don't know.
But you know what's interesting about that? You talked about our real president. You're an American man. You're very successful. You came from basically nothing. You had some rough patches in your early life and all the rest of it.
By the way, Tom, it's my 15-year anniversary of quitting crack cocaine and everything.
That's good.
Congratulations.
January 16, 2009. January 16, 2009, everybody. 15 years ago today, I quit everything. So it's it's like the American dream that we need to save on, I mean, where else can you go from being, down and out and like I was to where I'm at today? And that's the American dream we need to save in our country.
I just don't understand when people, like you say, want our real president. Well, you know what? You're an American, and if you want to believe that our real president is Donald Trump, I got no problem with that. I don't know why everybody gets. Who cares? It's right. It's not like you're going to swing an election with one vote from you. Right. I don't. Why people are getting so angry with one another, so hurtful, and it's across the board. It's on the left. It's on the right. Hopefully, it's not much in the center. But I was talking there earlier about the fact that, you and I have been friends now for years. You came all the way down to Florida and brought about 75,000 My Pillows with you. I'll never forget that either.
When we first met.
But I'm one of those kind of guys. I'm unlike other people. Unless you go out and murder someone or do something horrible, you're always going to be my friend. If people don't agree with your politics, that's none of my business. You believe what you believe. I right now kind of looked at it and said, I'm pretty much a centrist at this point because I've been a Democrat, I've been a Republican. I didn't really care for either one of them. I tried for years on both sides. I'm pretty much a centrist now. But the one thing I will tell you is that if you and Dawn are very, very good friends of mine, you supported my family with your, why wouldn't I support you? Where are the other people standing up and saying, Mike, look, let's get out there? They don't have to agree with everything you say. They can deny everything you say is true. That's their personal opinion. But to pull support for people, I have never understood that. Yeah. It's happened to me, and now it's happened to you. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the media and this deep state. There's another agenda out there. Now, you got to realize I've been fighting to secure our election platforms for 3 years now. My biggest blockers are bar none the uniparty Republicans. That kept happening in every single state. You go to Robin Voss in Wisconsin.
Oh,
whoop, we lost him.
Now that is happening.
There he is.
And it's, I quit. You got to realize that they're attacking me, the media and stuff, attacking me because I want to secure the election platforms. The 2020 election is long gone. It's back there. Yes. Did I believe that was stolen? Yes. But I want to secure our elections. Like Taiwan just had an election with paper ballots hand counted, and Argentina did it after many years. They went to paper ballots. You got France, Germany, the Netherlands, the UK, all paper ballots, and they have elections. They're done in one day, and it's amazing. Why is it so bad? When I was the media's darling, I was the American dream on steroids, and then they turn on me, and they've stayed that way. That's but the people haven't, Tom. The people see through this. I can go anywhere in this country. I don't care if it's the streets of Minneapolis or downtown or California or Maine or anywhere in this country. Oregon, I was just there. And people come rushing up to me and they're looking for hope. Do we have hope? Yeah. They feel hopeless. And you know what I say to them, by the way? I say, do you watch Fox all day long? And they say, yeah, how did you know? Well, you're not getting any hope there. It's like,
correct.
downer. And they're like a news channel that can't report, a weather channel that can't report hurricanes or tornadoes. If you can't hear about all the great things going on, the hope out there are many things going on that, but the media doesn't want to report that. They just want to attack. People see through that now. They see through that. If it would be another time in history, I would have been destroyed a long time ago. And when they first, here's me coming out of crack addiction, everything. I didn't know anything about politics. I just met a man I believed in, Donald Trump. Met him. I said, hey, he'd make a good president. I talked to businessman, and all of a sudden, because I believed in that, I got attacked, and they really never let up. And it's, but that's the media, and it's, I think it's a blessing too, though, because you have the attacked media. That's how I always get the word out. I've kind of flipped it on them. I've become actual friends with a lot of these left-wing media outlets where all of them, this last week, and it was like old times calling me. But when they would do articles about me, they'd run it by me, and I said, oh, you got to bash me better than that, or your boss isn't going to let you.
Exactly.
We have a couple questions and comments from the listeners.
You want to take a couple of questions?
Well, I'm not hearing you again.
What? Are you not hearing again?
Uh-oh. Broken.
Not hearing you again.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh. What could
know.
be
I wonder what
switching?
happened
Let me reset this, I
Alex,
guess.
stop pressing buttons.
Yeah, Alex, you pill. See, I love that he'll be back in a second. See, what I like about this whole situation is I don't understand why you have to agree with everything I believe, otherwise I hate you.
Well, because everything's become government is so huge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And it's run by a handful of multi-billionaires. They tell everybody what to say and what to do and what to think, and that's
there we go again.
You got it?
That's their puppet.
Can you hear us?
There we go again.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yep, I can hear you again.
Okay,
I don't know what
excellent.
happened.
I was just
It
telling Tony.
could be where I'm at. You guys, we had a big ice storm. I'm actually in Texas, and big ice storm. We have electricity problems, all kinds of stuff today.
We had a couple questions and comments from the listeners if you want to take them.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, so Louisville Joe says congratulations from a fellow recovery-er.
Recovery-er.
Our fellow recovery-er.
He's a word.
Well, I made it up, so it is now. And then Mike from Blaine wants to know why you are against ballot harvesting.
I'm against ballot harvesting for a lot of reasons, but remember, it was made illegal in many states, and but the biggest reason is it's harder to cheat with computers the day of the election, early voting, all this stuff that was put in illegally in 2020 by Secretary of State. Remember, legislatures make the laws, not the Secretary of State. So we should not let something that was done illegally become the status quo. And you ballot harvesting, for one thing, let's just say there was no crime with computers. Let's just say that. Let me tell you, the Democrats are so far ahead in ballot harvesting and cheating in that respect that it would, and I usually don't even say that because I'm all about going to paper ballots and counting. But what they do when ballot harvesting, everybody, when you combine that with the use of computers, they need product. So you're able to just take names and pull these names down. I'll give an example. Wisconsin has 7.2 million people, their names on their voter rolls. And if everybody voted in Wisconsin that was eligible, it's only 4.1 million. And they don't clean these computers up and stuff. So there's many reasons. I could spend hours on ballot harvesting. It is a bad deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where you would like to see. Has there ever been an election in the history of the United States that was on the up and up, going all the way back to, he wasn't elected, but George Washington?
Right. Well, that's a good point, Tom, and it got brought up in one of the many court cases I've been in across the country trying to get this all the way to the Supreme Court. The judge said, he goes, there's always cheating going on. There can be cheating going on with paper ballots and counted too. Absolutely. But when you use computers, you can do it with a very small number of people rather than having a cabal of tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people to steal with the same thing. With a computer, you can tack a zero on. You can do a lot of stuff with a computer you can't do with which would take an army of people. That's the difference. Can you always get rid of all cheating? No, that's not realistic. But you can certainly get it down to the best it can be. Taiwan is the best example. They just had their election on Friday. They're the gold standard of the world for elections. I'm telling you, every practice they have, there's nothing better. They were done in one day, and it was beautiful.
Mike, is this all about money? I mean, this whole situation, the fact that you were spending $1 million a week, over $50 million a year with somebody, how did they want that to go away? It makes no sense to me.
No, it really doesn't. They've tried to attack when I won't shut up about securing our elections. They've tried.
Oh no!
Oh, we lost them again.
Destroyed my money, and now I'm gonna. You guys, now it did it again. I'm gonna have to call right back.
Oh no, we can see you.
Shoot.
Well, he can't hear us.
Oh, he can't hear us.
Yeah,
there's an ice storm in Texas. That's been the problem here. So there's nothing we can do about that at all. But one thing I want to make this very, very clear, ladies and gentlemen. I think everybody gets their own opinion, and if you're my friend, I will support. I mean, obviously, if your opinion turns on me, that's a different situation.
But, oh, God, this is going on, that's going on. Aren't you a friend? Yes, I am a friend of Mike Lindell's. I probably always will be. He's been very loyal to us. I am loyal to him as well. There's no question about that. Do he and I agree on everything politically? Of course not. We do not. But I don't know. Is there anyone I agree with 100% politically? Do you have anybody like that?
A very silent Catherine there.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's freedom of speech, and Mike should have freedom of speech. I mean,
Yes.
Your opinion's out there.
agree.
Yeah, as long as it's not dangerous, it's not hurting people, you're not endangering lives, endangering other people's freedoms. Well, you say what you want. It doesn't make any sense. This censorship and this media lynching that we're seeing going on time and time and time again,
Right.
you're losing your job, taking away your advertising. There's many pieces that are just dangerous.
We watched a little bit of the Iowa caucuses last night, and I've never watched them before in my life. And they had the people that came in. They said they had an entrance poll. That's why they called it for Trump so early. It was overwhelmingly Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people, a majority of people, thought that the last election was illegitimate.
A lot of them did.
So this isn't like, just a small handful of crazy people with a lot of money think this. This is mainstream America thinks this too. And the other thing was very interesting is they had a Ziploc bag, like the gallon one, and all the little slips of paper were in there. And as they took them out, two people saw them and they put them in piles and they tallied it all up and they double checked it. Granted, it wasn't a ton of votes because, some of the counties, I don't know how many people get to vote in these caucuses exactly, but it wasn't a ton. Maybe 40, sometimes 50 votes. It was just, it was so simplistic. I was like, wow, this is...
Right.
This is very simplified.
Can you hear us again, Mike?
Yeah, I can hear you again.
Good. Excellent.
So we were just talking about the caucus vote last night and how simple it was.
Right.
That people just wrote down on a piece of paper who they wanted to vote for, and then they just counted it right in front of people who had their cell phones out. They were on camera. It was all 100% transparent. Why can't voting be 100% transparent?
And it can. We've over the last year, I have huge organizations. I do a call every Monday to over 300,000 people, or at least their leaders, and then it goes out to all 50 states. And we have developed, one of my gals, she developed the best hand counting system. We took all the other countries and kind of put it into one here. Her name is Linda Rant, and her system we actually used in Osage County, Missouri last spring. Democrats and Republicans working together. They got done the same time as the machines with 100% accuracy. Everybody trusted it. It was on camera. It was beautiful. And you guys can check it out at lindellplan.com. We have it all up there. And actually, at the end of this month, I'm going to Las Vegas with my Election Crime Bureau and my Cause of America. And we're bringing people in from all over the country that are in charge of our election. And we're going to train them how to do the hand counting procedure and all the reasons you would not want to do that. If anyone says, well, I don't want to do that, it's going to take longer. No, it doesn't. Here, we proved it. It's going to cost more. No, it costs 10 times less. There is no reason that every single county in this country would not want to have transparent elections under camera, just like you said. They did it in Iowa with the caucuses there.
Well, what I don't understand is no matter what side of the fence you're on with politics, don't you want the voting rosters to be cleaned up and everybody's vote to actually count? I mean, isn't that, the threat to democracy is all around us, according to a lot of people. Why not make it so that it's fair, honest, and transparent?
Yeah, and it's a pretty amazing. The Democrats wanted these computers gone for 2 decades. Amy Klobuchar, my own senator in Minnesota, she wanted them gone. That's all she preached for a couple of years now.
Yes, right.
And I will tell you that with this, as we go into counties or into states, my groups do, and we get pushback. Like I said, the Uniparty Republicans. I want to give one quick example. Cleburne County, Arkansas, big red state, right? They went to last January. They went to paper. They voted in paper ballots, hand counted. Now, within a couple weeks, there was every county in Arkansas, they were going to come on board and just go to paper ballots, hand count. Well, the Republicans quick went and passed a law in Arkansas. If you're a county and you go to paper ballots, we defund your county. Now, does this make sense? Does this make sense? So every county had to go, we're sorry we even brought it up. We're sorry we even brought it. It doesn't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, there's a hidden agenda. And I'm telling you, this uniparty, these blockers, I call them blockers out there. I'm very tired of it. But we did get a resolution out of the RNC last August. Remember when I ran for chair a year ago, one of the things that came out of that, I was a big influence on them getting a resolution passed in August, which was paper ballots, hand counted, same day voting, precinct level signature required. So now when we go back to these counties, any Republican that raised their hand says, we don't want this. We go, well, they got voted in 168 to nothing. Why do you not want to go to a system that people trust? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Well, see, Mike, it's never made sense to me because you've always been a guy. This is not an anti-Democrat thing.
No, absolutely not.
It's both parties. That's why I don't understand why some people get so upset about this. We're just trying to do the best we can. You have your beliefs.
Yeah.
You're trying to do the best you can. Is this all about money? It's obviously about power, but where does the money come in?
Well, as far as whose money, my money's gone.
My money's. But see, that's why I'm asking you this question. Why would they do that to you? Losing $1 million a week is a lot of money.
Yeah, with Fox, it's just like when they benched Tucker. I really believe that there's a hidden agenda, and it all involves with politics, involves with power, it involves. Obviously, they're willing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars over there. Remember, they made a settlement, which I could go on for days about, but this settlement with a certain company that was where did this come from? Then you bench your biggest host, and now you're benching your biggest advertiser. This is about power, I believe. It's about control. It's a deep state globalist viewpoint, I think, that they have over there, and it's going to come out. I mean, they're hurting themselves. When their network dries up to a little dot on a screen, because it is. People are not watching anymore, and they're onto them. They're onto them, and this is going to. Now, would I take if they come back and say, "Hey, we made a mistake here," blah blah blah? If Susan Scott, the CEO, I'm trying to get a meeting with, and says, "Yeah, you can advertise my pillow," I owe it to my employees. That my employees, that's separate.
Yes.
I can separate. I can separate anything that they do to me. I don't care, Tom, and you know me. You can attack me all day long, and you think taking my money is going to stop me from talking? It's not. I will never stop talking and help save this country, and no matter what they do. But when you go after my employees, or you've seen how they went after my product employees a few months back in a deposition. I had a few words to say in my deposition. I think the lawyer, he says, a judge is watching this. I said, yeah, I got a problem with the judge too. And I don't care. What's right is right. When you speak from a place of truth or what you believe, it doesn't matter. I can go on, attack after attack, and I'm not going to stop. But I do have to protect my employees. And everyone says, well, Mike, you shouldn't have thought about that before you spoke out. If I didn't speak out, I firmly believe we won't have a country if we don't secure our elections. Right. Everything comes from our elections. Everything. You can talk about the walls and talk about all this other stuff. It's our elections. I'm fine with who's ever elected as long as they're elected and not selected. That's my biggest fear, is that it keeps going on. We're in an age of computers. We're at apex in history. When you have artificial intelligence and all this stuff, who do you want regulating that? People that were selected or people that were elected for the people? We're coming into scary times, and we have to secure our elections. Taiwan's a perfect example. I think everybody should go online and study that right now, what Taiwan just did. And they saved their country because they did not give in to having elections that aren't secure.
Mike, can I ask a question?
Right, sure.
Do you think that things would be different if you weren't located in Minnesota for you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if people say, well, why don't you move your company on Minnesota? That's all my friends, family. We grew up there. I'm not,
Sure.
I think
I'm just talking about the political climate in Minnesota.
I think, see, Minnesota was a little different. Over the last 3 years, Minnesota's media did not attack me like every other media outlet. It's like they knew better. They knew better to stay silent. They just stayed silent. Every once in a while, the horrible Star and Tribune will do an article about me now and attack me. But they, and when they call, I go, wow, I must have really made the national news now. You guys are, you guys will, because I think they were afraid back when I was going to run for governor, the more they bashed me, the more it would help, But as far as my company, there's a lot of horrible regulations in Minnesota, a lot of stuff you go through, but I don't think that certainly wouldn't change me out there with my voice trying to secure our elections. I don't care where I'm at. You can put me on an island and I'll find a way to keep talking.
Just send up smoke signals. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful.
There is corruption in our elections.
Well, I really do think that there are these forces out there that just want to beat people down so that they'll just go away. And it's like, why can't he talk? Why can't he have an opinion? What is the deal?
Yeah, absolutely. And people are onto that. Like look at our real president Donald Trump is. He called me this, I don't know, it's this summer or whatever. He was talking. He kept getting indicted. And I said, he says, well, Mike, what's the temperature? What are people saying? I said, sir, every time you get indicted and they attack you, more and more people are jumping in from this bucket from both sides. And I said, your polls go up. I said, pretty soon you're going to have more votes than voters like Pennsylvania always does.
Pennsylvania. Mike, I'm sorry you're going through all this stuff. Like I said, you and I have been friends for years now. I am not one of those kind of guys. Oh, it's gonna. I don't want to talk to Mike. It's too dangerous. Look, if you're my friend, you're my friend. You and I don't agree on everything. There are things that I believe that you don't believe, and all the rest of it. It's got nothing to do with it. The fact that you're a very loyal person, you try to help. The one thing that you never get credit for, and I've watched over several years, you help people more than anyone else I've ever known. I mean, the down and out, the people that really need help, you have always stepped up and helped them. Do they ever give you credit for it? No, they do not. So that'll be my job, apparently.
Well, thanks, Tom. I want to tell everyone a good example of where the people are out there in this country, too.
Yep.
About a year and a half ago, I was out in California, and I went from there. I was in this town. It was all 25 to 40-year-olds, kids, basically, and they're coming up to me, and this is a very Democrat liberal town, and they kept coming up to me and asking me if there was hope for our country, and I said, absolutely, and I would talk to them all, we'd take pictures. Right after that, I went down to Florida for the hurricane victims down there, and like we do with My Pillow with every hurricane and every national disaster. But this time was different. The media didn't talk about it. I didn't care. But I went to get down there, and we were in a Hispanic trailer park, and all you see from about a half a mile it looked like a dike. It was all their personal possessions with a dike on both sides and a gravel road down the middle. Every possession they had was piled up. We were praying with them. We had interpreters, and we were giving out pillows and blankets. Well, here was the main thing they asked me. They asked me because they had come from a place where communism, destruction, whatever, and they would say, do we have hope? They were looking for hope of the American dream. They knew they could get their worldly possessions back as long as the American dream stayed there and we did not lose our freedoms through our these election platforms and stuff. And it was very interesting that these people had lost everything and they still had hope because of where we are as a nation with that American dream. And I've lived it on steroids, going from a crack addict to where I'm at now. So it was very inspiring for me to see that people had so much hope that had lost everything. And they know that we can't lose that one thing, and that's our freedom.
No question. Mike, I will tell you, and I am very, very grateful for this, to tell you the truth. Grew up very, very poor in North Minneapolis. Ended up having the #1 rated morning show in all of America. I mean, for the people to step up and support me the way they have, the people stepped up and supported you the way they have, other people come along and see that, you're a former crack addict, Tom, you're from the slums, and so therefore you blah, 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 blah. I don't understand why they can't just sit back and be happy for you. Who are you hurting You have different political views than a lot of people. How are you hurting people by having different political views? And to tell you the truth, Mike, one of the reasons I'm in this job and not a job I used to have is because you and I are friends. They hated that. They hated the fact that you and I were friends.
Yes, they did.
But they take your money. They take your money when you advertise, though. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. One of my favorite memes of all time, it was after I spoke at the Rose Garden, and I spoke out about the Bible and getting back in the Word with our families. It was right before the China virus. And this meme came out, and it was a cartoon guy, and he's got a psychiatrist holding on to this and with this guy, and he said, "Show me on the doll where the My Pillow guy hurt you by talking about the Bible."
Mike, it's good to see you. You have the strength you've always had, but you kept it. You're in a good mood. And by the way, I do have to mention this because I don't know if I give her enough credit, but Dawn was one of the greatest hires of all time that you ever made. She is an amazing. Don't tell her I said this.
Okay, I will.
I'm going to text her right now.
I'm going to text her
I'm
right now.
saying nice things.
But Dawn, I just love her. She's as good as it gets. She's very, very concerned. She's happy when you're happy. She's sad when you're sad. You have really good people, and you're a good person, Mike. I have watched you help people to the tune of millions of dollars, and I wish people would understand that. We don't all have to be Republican. We don't all have to be Democrat. We can disagree on things. Some of us are centrist. Calm down. Everybody is so angry in the world right now, and look what it's doing. It's ridiculous, right?
Well,
And,
maybe
you know,
Tim Lammers
I want
something.
to say something to everybody. If anyone, people out there that are feeling hopeless right now, and the drugs are pouring in from the southern border and stuff.
Yep.
And you combine this, it's absolutely deadly. This is my 15-year anniversary of when I quit everything. If you have someone out there that's in addiction, I set up the LindellRecoveryNetwork.org, and it's free,
Yep.
everybody. It's free. You can't beat free. I did it to help people, and if people want to get, if you have a loved one out there that's feeling hopeless or yourself, go there. It's free. You can't beat free, right?
No question about it. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you, like I said. I do not like the way some people are reporting this story. They're making it look like you went broke.
Yeah,
that
I know. Yeah.
It's
But,
like,
yeah,
what?
then Lou Dobbs should be pretty. I hired him for this long-term contract. I mean, that's kind of weird, isn't it? On a Monday and I'm broke on a Wednesday. That's kind of weird, Tom.
It's hard to believe. Well, Mike, come back soon. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. But like I said, if you're a friend of mine, I will always support you. I don't turn my back on friends because they have rough patches. So I want to thank you for all your time today, and we'll talk again soon. Oh, he just hung up on me there, I guess.
Well, it might be the ice storm.
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Hello and goodbye.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good day, sir.
Bye.
Mike Lindell, ladies and gentlemen. No question. We got to get a hold of Timmy now. Tim walked away. Oh, there he comes.
He's coming
Here
back.
comes Timmy Lammers right now. The pill that
The
you
lovely
are.
missus just called me, and so.
No, sorry about that. Alex was trying to do her best job there, but
No,
Tim, as you
that's
know,
fine. I told her, I said, just bring me in whenever. So.
well, we got
Yeah.
like 17 minutes. That's enough for you.
Hey,
Isn't
there
it?
you go, baby. So
No,
how's it going?
Well, as you know, if I'm a friend of yours, I'm not going to turn my back on you just because the rest of the world is turning on you. It's just not going to happen. I don't do things like that. I suppose if you killed someone, I might turn on you, but
Yeah, that might cause a little exception there.
No,
so.
Tom, you wouldn't turn on them. No, you wouldn't turn on your friend. What you would say, what you did is wrong, and you'd visit them in prison, but you would not turn your back on them. You would support them any way you could.
Well, Alex can tell you. How many trips did you make to Stillwater Prison to visit our friend, Alex? About 25?
Every Saturday for 6 months.
Every Saturday for 6
Wow.
months. See, we all went to Stillwater. I used to go visit my friends from the north side, and Catherine and Alex went and visited our very special friend when he was in prison as well. That's another
Very
example.
special friend.
If you got sentenced to prison, I'm still going to be your friend unless you massacred somebody or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
You
good
draw
to
the
know.
line
and
at massacre.
Yeah, draw the line at massacre.
Good to
I
know.
really
Good
do.
to know.
because-
Good to know.
Hard line.
I've been watching Dexter, and
Oh.
Well, it depends on who you're massacring, I suppose.
Yeah, if it's a bad guy,
Yeah,
feel free.
exactly.
Feel free.
Dexter's taking out all the bad guys. It's crazy because you finally get around to these series. I mean, honestly, just in the last year, we finally watched Breaking Bad, and that was terrific. Started Better Call Saul, still kind of in limbo with it, like in the middle of the second season or whatever. But then my daughter started watching Dexter, which is something that we started watching a long time ago.
Long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, I watched a few seasons.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of them. So it's like, oh my God, I can't do this. But now we're, I think, 2 or 3 episodes from finishing the original series, and then there's the reboot, which is 10 episodes. So we'll get to that as well. And last night started something anew. I think you're going to be in on this just because I mentioned the name Jodie Foster.
I love Jodie Foster.
I saw that ad for that show.
Yes, True Detective Night Country, which is the 4th installment. This is again like Fargo, an anthology series. So you don't have to start with season 1. I mean, each is an individual story.
Okay.
So Jodie plays this sheriff up in Alaska, and it just turned to the nighttime phase. Where I believe it's like 2 months of night. I thought, misnomer was half days in a year, half nights. Well, it's actually a lot less than that, but still, can you imagine 2 months of night?
No.
Yeah,
So
that'd be a bit much.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Yeah, there you
I need
go.
a lot of satellites.
Consecutive nights, they mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Well, so what we have here is her playing this, and there's only 1 episode so far. So I'm wondering, why was she wearing the Minnesota Vikings sweatshirt?
Oh,
right?
Interesting.
That was kind of cool. Plus, another little Minnesota bonus. There's an actor named John Hawkes who was in the movie Winter's Bone, which got Jennifer Lawrence an Oscar nomination. Also got John Hawkes an Oscar nomination. John is from Alexandria, Minnesota. So that's pretty cool too. And this guy's been around forever. I mean, he's been in a ton of things. And I interviewed him for an older movie. I can't remember honestly what the movie was, but it's pretty cool to see the Minnesota folks, in showbiz like that. And
yeah, we just finished up season 4 of Fargo. With
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Rock. We just finally finished that up, and who is the woman that plays the nurse? She is so brilliant at
she's
that
phenomenal.
role. She's so good
God,
at that
is she
role.
good. The
And
killing nurse.
and
kills
she's got
everybody.
the Minnesota, the little accent, and she's all
You know,
sweetness and
don't-
light while she's murdering people right and left. It's like
it seems like some of them go way out of their way, though, to go with the Minnesota accent. Now in season 5,
good.
the guy, one of the main protagonists, is actually, he's in reality from Minnesota. So he apparently coached them on how to do the accent. Okay, Jessie Buckley is the name? Yeah, Jessie Buckley.
That's her name.
That's her name.
Yeah, and she was.
Phenomenal.
What else has she been in?
She's been nominated for at least 1 Oscar.
Oh.
Boy, she did a movie a couple years ago, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and she was also in Women Talking. Did you ever see that movie last year? It's about these women in a cult-like situation, and she starred in that film as well. And the film won a best original screenplay Oscar or adaptation or whatever. Yeah. So she's a star on the rise. But yeah, as long as she got the Minnesota accent down, look at how Frances McDormand.
Yeah,
remember how great that
Loved her
was?
too. She was phenomenal.
I know. I always think it's funny that a lot of Minnesotans get insulted with that accent being so prevalent. But if you've ever known anybody with that accent, that
does exist.
That's what they sound
Well,
like.
That is for sure.
I'm sure I told this story before, but after my wife and I saw Fargo originally, now we're talking back in 96, 97, whenever the film came out, we're thinking, no way is it like that.
Oh yeah.
We go to a local establishment, and there's a couple guys at the bar. I was wailing on them and all this sort of stuff. It's like, oh my God, we just stepped into the movie. And the truth of the matter is that we talk like it too, but we're just too stupid to realize it, So yeah, it's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny, but and just the way she walked and the look she would get on her face, I think she did a brilliant job at it. She was great.
Darren's got an interesting fact. Jessie Buckley is Irish.
Oh,
Well, she's actually Irish.
So Irish person doing a Minnesota accent.
She nails it too. She's really good at it.
She does. I think she's great.
Okay, so she
I
was
can see her in a lot of
in
things in the future.
The Lost Daughters, the film that got her Oscar nomination. That's on Netflix, an original Netflix film. You know, it seems like before that, just a bunch of independent work.
Okay.
But she's got you know what? I think she's going to be in. Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing The Bride of Frankenstein, and she's going to be in that. I don't know what she's going to play. But, you know, again, you get an Oscar nomination, that's all you need. I mean, that kind of opens up a lot of doors for you as far as opportunities are concerned. So, and I'm sure Fargo did too. I mean, if you're talking about her, I'm sure a lot of people are talking about her.
Phenomenal show.
I know, and when I posted that we were watching Fargo and how I thought that Chris Rock was doing such a good job, a lot of people were like, "No, he was terrible in it." I was like, "Yeah, I thought he was. I thought everybody was great." It was.
I did too.
I mean, it's a hard series to watch because it's just so dark.
Are you going to watch season 5?
I think so. John Hamm's in it. He's usually pretty good.
And he's a bad dude in this one.
Oh, great!
He is great. He's great. And it's set in an actual the Minnesota town is real that it's actually set in. And Juno Temple, she's in Ted Lasso, I think.
Right.
And she's in the Godfather series, The Offer. She played the secretary to Al Ruddy.
Oh, she was great. Okay.
God, I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
show.
So she's the lead, and I think that of all of the anthology, the seasons, this one closely mirrors the original movie the most.
Okay.
At least the beginning does.
Well, when you watch Fargo, and they always have that, you know, this is a true story. They're not true stories. That's not true.
No, they're
Why
never. They're
do
never
they do
true.
that? I'm always, as you're watching it, and all these
Yeah.
horrible things keep unfolding, and you're like, how can this be
And
true?
how can
It's not true.
And how come we never heard about it?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Because
it's-
you know
because
that
it's not true.
we'd have heard about it. Yeah, I mean, it's just another way the Coen brothers are screwing with you, right?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
It takes place in Scandia, by the way.
Scandia, and which is a real Minnesota town.
Yes,
It
it
is,
is.
Sure is.
What takes place in Scandia?
Season 5.
Season 5.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep. It's not
That
very
ought to be
far from.
interesting.
Scandia's
near
right
Forest Lake.
Yeah, it's on the border of Wisconsin, basically.
It's up by Stillwater Prison, isn't it? Just north of there.
Isn't it right on the William Munger?
It's
bike
25
trail?
miles northeast of St. Paul.
Yeah, there you go.
So
it's
yeah,
like
very
near-
close to Stillwater.
It's near Forest Lake because I had a friend that
Forest
lived in Scandia.
Puppy.
First I've ever heard
There's a puppy.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Scandia.
Again. Can you bark? You barked a second ago.
I don't want to know.
Come on.
You know, Tim, only you could make a dog look bored.
Yeah, no, you know what? I have a calming effect on it.
Yes, that's what it is.
Cutie
Exactly.
pie.
Yeah, it's
Gorgeous.
actually my son.
That's a face.
Puppy, and we're watching her until he moves into his new place.
What's her name?
Finka. It's some video game character, Finka.
Finka.
Yeah,
I know
I don't
video
know.
games, and I've never heard of Finka.
Where's Finka from, Quinn?
You're too old.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. My other son doesn't know either. But apparently, my son Elton, yeah, he Finka, Finka, something like that.
Well, my dog woke me up at 4:24 in the morning to have a bout of diarrhea and throwing up. So, yeah, that was my night.
Finka's from Rainbow Six. That's why.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
There you go. I knew that there was a reason.
Well, there
but-
is a Finka in Rainbow Six, assuming that's the character you're thinking of. Well, we named our
Yeah,
cat
that's
Nora
the one. That's the
after Horizon Zero Dawn, so hey.
Oh, that's where you got her from? I never
Yep,
asked. I
the
guess.
Nora tribe. She didn't have a name for like a week, and we were like, I can't think of a name, and we were playing it, and then we were like, hey, Nora, that's a name, and it's related to something we like. Why not Nora?
Oh, it's a cute name. It fits her.
It does.
Right.
So, have you caught any movies lately? I know you've got John Wick 4.
We did go see John Wick 4.
Wow, the body count was pretty high in John Wick.
147, I think.
I would have guessed 250. I was like, I don't know. A million? Just nonstop. He's going up
really
the
true.
stairs of Momart, going to the church on the top of the hill. How many times did he fall all the way back?
Oh my God! Yeah,
Just
Keep
like,
falling and
oh,
falling.
this poor
and, oh my
son of
God.
a.
I forgot about that. I've only seen it. The only time I caught it was in theaters, which is almost, well, it was in March, I think, of 2023. And so it's been a while. But, talking about video games, that was one of those movies where the video game-like scene actually works. Remember when they showed the above overhead shot of him going through this room? It's like, okay, this is a video game character, and we're the video game character. And, of course, he's just blowing people away every place he turns.
Right.
And, yeah, what a wild movie. And it's got to be, I'm sure it's out there, the official count, but could you imagine? Well, Tom said that you tried to keep up with it, Catherine.
She did. She did try to keep track of the count.
Unbelievable.
And interestingly enough, I don't think that this one was the most dead people.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
I thought there was another one that had a
up.
higher body count. Oh, okay.
No, I think
in a movie or a John Wick movie?
John Wick movie.
Yeah, no. This is, I think, in fact, 4 might outstrip the first 3 combined.
Oh.
If I read properly, let me find out.
Maybe.
Well, it's long enough to get more in.
That's the thing.
3 hours. I got to read this.
Oh, wait, no, never mind. Not even close. John Wick Chapter 2 alone had 128.
Jesus.
But 4 still had the most.
Indeed. Timmy Lammers brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. I got to get that in, get your sponsor in there. Well, first of all, it's Michael Bryant, so I got to do it anyway.
Yeah,
right?
well, actually, though, I'm not sponsored on this show, so it's only the morning show that I'm sponsored.
Well, I still threw it out there. Because...
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's always big thanks to Mike Bryant. Tim would not exist without Michael Bryant.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I also got an email from a friend of mine that said, you know what you should do, Tom? It'd be really good. And you could do it for like 1 year and that would be enough. I said, what was that? He said, why don't you get Mike Lindell to spend $1 million a week on your show?
Yeah.
If we could only sell that many pillows.
$1 million a week on Fox News.
God.
And they pull his ads.
That's insane.
But when you're up against all these billionaires, you don't have a chance.
Exactly.
I mean,
Imagine
they decide to get
$1 million a week. Today's show is from the ISS.
Yeah, seriously. I have a solid gold microphone now.
Coming to you from Australia this week, with special guest Brad Blanks.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, I didn't get a chance to say, but D Hart says he sorry Mike's going through all this, but he still loves his pillows.
Oh, see, that's what we need here. Oh, it's a good way to close the show. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I am not that kind of guy. Do I agree with everything that Mike Lindell does? Of course not. I don't agree with everything that anybody does. And a lot of people don't agree with things that I do. But if you're a friend, he's always been a very loyal friend to me, so I'm not going to turn my back on him or anybody else that's my friend. I know a lot of people, man, you step out of line one little bit and they're not your friend anymore, and they just, cut you off and close the door. That's not me. That's not. Listen, unless you murdered somebody, unless it was for the right reason, then it'd still be okay. Murdered somebody, you're a rapist, or you beat your children, then I'm not talking to you. But if you don't do those 3 things, I'm fine. Relax. Just calm down, everybody, right?
Speaking of murdering.
Yes.
I have the kill count per minute for each John Wick movie.
Per minute.
Per minute.
Per
So 1, 3, and 4 are all pretty much the same at about a kill every 1 minute, 20 seconds.
Oh, God. For almost 2 hours.
So what's the official count then? The whole movie?
Let's see. Well, first, so Chapter 2 actually has the highest kill rate.
See?
Not kill count, kill rate. A kill every 57 seconds. So
there's different statistics for the John Wick movies.
It's less than a minute per kill for John Wick 2 because it's shorter than all the others. Well, it's shorter than 3 and 4. So even though it doesn't have as many kills as 4, it's a lot shorter, so the rate is higher. But the total for all movies is 439.
It's almost like professional wrestling, though.
Yeah.
It's
Well, yeah,
so
you're not supposed to take it seriously.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous that as you're watching all of this mayhem go on, you're actually kind of laughing.
Well,
Which
yeah.
I normally don't like, shoot 'em up, kill movies at all. But this one is just so stupid in a way that it's entertaining.
Yeah, and if you don't get it, just watch the step scene, and then you'll realize, yeah, this is a spoof, kind of. You know, I mean, that scene. You're right, Catherine. My God, I forgot about that scene.
Or when they're in the roundabout and they're.
Oh yeah.
You're just like whatever.
You know, it was in my top 5. It was in my top 5. You know, I know the highbrow critics is like, oh, that's an action movie or whatever.
It is not highbrow. It's not highbrow.
No, but the highbrows generally don't include that sort of movie. But it's like, you know what? It's an entertaining movie. That's why you go to see it. So yeah, it was in my top 5. I mean, it's a great movie.
It is very entertaining.
Entertainment. That's what I want. I don't want drudgery for 2.5, 3 hours. You know?
Exactly.
There you have it, Timmy. I'm glad you popped on today, and we will talk to you on the other show at the end of the week, correct?
Indeed. We will talk with you on Friday, Tommy.
Thanks,
all right,
Timmy.
Everybody have a great week.
You too. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we can wrap it up by saying this, that everybody's insisting that I reach out to Mike and say, well, you should just spend $1 million a week on this show. What do you think?
I think he'd have a nice giggle.
Get a good laugh out of that one. Again, ladies and gentlemen, and look, I've been in that position myself, so I understand. But let's get away from judging everyone and everything sucks and everything's horrible. It's like we need to calm down, don't you think?
Yep, let's work together.
Working together, be good. All right, we will talk to you tomorrow.
Off with the mics.
Hello, having issues? No?
Why are you licking her leg?
Can she hear you?
I can't hear her.
Jude, enough with the leg.
I don't know.
She's trying to figure it out.
Well, you can call her, I guess.
Blue. I can just add it after the fact. Post facto. All right, you can